Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? If at first, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I tried twice. Mic I could see wasn't working. Finally, we have the mic working. Otherwise, there's no point in talking if nobody can hear you. How's everybody today? How's my family doing? I am fine. My friend is in a total toxic mess. Sorry, I'm a little bit later, but she's a mess. Friends are control freaks. None of them are static. It made me really uncomfortable because I don't really want to be around all the pollution that they give off and that. So I did her a favor today, and I probably won't be doing another one because these are the people you need to avoid, like the communists at the thing or the guys that talk at the club in the hot tub and they don't say anything, the vampires. These are the most toxic people I've ever met in my life. And, it was my friend's birthday. I gave her a present, I gave her some money. And today she's asking me for more money. And I said, no, I gave you money. I gave you money for your birthday. You have to learn to budget it. If I give you some money and you need it to last 2 weeks, then maybe you shouldn't spend it. And stop asking for more money. When you get the money, learn how to deal with it. So she's crying and, oh, I need more money. And I'm like, well, I gave you, don't kill the goose that lays the golden eggs, right? You do that. I was nice. I gave you the gift, but I feel like she only calls me when she needs something and uses me, and the game's over. Now that I'm more stoic and INFJ, I'm like, I don't need you. I'm being nice, but I'm stopping that. I'll be nice to people that I should be nice to, but I'm not going to be nice to people that don't appreciate it. So anyway, it's a lesson learned that you've got to be careful with, where you think they're friends, but they're really not. And if you really look at it from a stoic point of view, you see they call you only when they need you. It's not a two-way relationship. It's a one-way. It's, help me. And then she smokes. And I said, well, you really shouldn't smoke because you're just putting poison in your body and in one ear and out the other. I had a good interview today with Wells Fargo Bank. It's like a financial analyst position in the IT department, much like Mercedes. And it's like 6-month contract and hire, supposedly. Well, I'll believe that when I see it. But I said to the recruiter, you're going to start seeing a lot of these because the banks are eating up these littler banks, right? So Wells Fargo is eating up this other bank. And so they need somebody like me to come in and oversee it. And I said to the recruiter, you're going to have 1,000 of these because as the banks start eating up the smaller banks, this is going to be prevalent all over the place. I said, this makes me feel good because I've been stuck in the auto industry for a while doing that, because that's what it is. But I don't think the auto industry will be around, because if you can't sell the product, nobody wants it. I was listening to the radio, picking up my friend, and they were talking. It was like I don't know, you're in a Toyota dealership and a Honda dealership and a GM dealership for all these different products. And he said that nobody's buying because the prices are too high. Really? Yeah, we understood that, because they're selling the electric vehicles to the market. The question was then asked, well, do you think this is a ploy to get everybody out of gas-powered cars into electric? And the problem is that as it might be, you're putting the dealership out of business by marking the price. If you're marking a $60,000 car and the market's at 30, nobody's going to buy it, right? Why would you do that on purpose? In what world would a company bankrupt themselves, right? Or it's part of the government forcing the prices high. How does the government force prices? I see what the guy was saying. Hey, Brandon, I can see what the guy was saying, but I didn't really get it. Why would you, in other words, why would Coke mark their pop $5 a bottle and nobody buys it and then try to stay in business, right? They're not going to stay in business. So they have to go out of business. They would have to cut prices to their market. So if their market's $2, they can't sell it at $5. And that's what with these car things. Do you know who's playing college football this weekend? Yeah. Why? What is that question? Of course I know. I know all the pro games too. Strange question. Hi, Greg and John. What's going on? So anyway, that's I couldn't believe the question. It's a weird question because businesses would have to go along with the government, keep the prices over consumer, and so they have to cut prices to get to the market. I mean, that's where you're at. So anyway, so that was my morning. Interview went well. I'll probably know by Friday. Sounds good. They're asking for references, which I don't know why. I give them my Mercedes ones, but I don't know. It's like, are they even there anymore? And then I tried giving phone numbers, which I have two of my boss's phone numbers, but I don't even know if they're still good or not. But I know the one's good because it's on WhatsApp. Anyway, so that went good. Stay away from these toxic ones. Do I do NFL too? Have you not been? You come here and say hello. Do you not listen to what I say? Do you not watch my videos? Yes. What's the title of this? NFL. Yes, I do college. I've been doing it for 40 years. Do you not see all my videos? And when you come in, do you not listen to what we're talking about? There's football, pro and college, and then there's Austrian economics and gold, all complete to answer all this. Sometimes I get stoic. Sometimes we look at games and girls and poker and craps, but it's a very broad base. But football every time and gold and economics every time. So yes, I do. And do you have a question in pros or college? Anyway, so let's look at gold, and then we'll get into football. All right, gold's at 2044 and silver's 25. Now keep in mind, this is the paper price, the derivative price, not the physical price. We're working on getting a physical price. It would be nice to get it. Then you'd add at least 1 0 to gold, make it 20,000, and probably the same with silver, probably about 2,500, because obviously these prices are not real. They're paper derivative meant to increase the supply like they do in the dollar, where they print paper gold, which is not real, and say, here's the price, because they are printing it like they do with the money. So as this is worth 2 cents because they printed it, so there is no value in it, they can't print gold and silver. It is what comes out of the ground, and then they make it into coins or bars. And the only way they can keep the price down is to print it as if it was dollars, but you can't print physical. So that's what you got to realize. The paper gold is derivative gold. It's a bullshit price. this 2,500, this 2,044 is not anywhere near what the real price of coins really is. And we're digging to get that, and the same with silver. So keep that in your mind. So some news in pro football today. Aaron Rodgers is practicing. Justin Jefferson is playing apparently this week. No, I was busy. I did go to bed till 1. But you're on here. You say hello. Do you just pop in to say hello and then not listen and pop out? TK, you think electric cars will take over the market? No, there's no demand. Batteries won't hold a charge, especially in colder weather. There's too much fear. If I need to drive 2 hours in snow, is my battery going to stay charged? And therefore, am I going to die in my car because the car gets frozen? Because this, with a regular car, if the battery dies, you can open the door and get out and call AAA. In a electric car, when the battery dies, you can't get out of your car. So not only are you worried about that, but you're worried about finding a place to charge it, to plug it in. With gas, I have no problems with it. I can fill it up, and now I can drive 350, 400 miles until I need it. I know there's a gas station within 2 miles, there's a gas station. There's nothing wrong with the car. Bullshit on the environment. That's just bullshit. So I don't see why I would not want my gas-powered car. There's plenty of oil. There's more oil than there is electricity to charge all the cars and charge your house and have the lights on now and have my computer running. So you need the electricity for that. So therefore, why would you go get an electric car? Then we had, well, you know what? If they're entering the market and they're like $2,000, okay, they're cheaper. Maybe I'd buy one, but they're not. They're like $70,000, $80,000, $100,000. Who the hell in their right mind's paying that much for a car now? So I don't see where it ever will take over. I don't see a reason or need for it to take over. It's all bullshit. They don't have enough silver and lithium to make all the batteries they need. Plus the batteries don't last. It's heavier, so it fucks up the roads. Good luck finding charging. And as we know from cell phone batteries, yeah, when you first buy the cell phone, they last, and then slowly they don't hold the charge as much. So you're going to be needing a new battery in your electric car every 2 years, and it's how much? $10,000-$15,000. And what's the point? I got my gas-powered one that I have no problems with. I don't need the electric one. So there's no need, there's no demand. I don't see how it could possibly take over. Hey, Nick, there are the kind of weeks why they call TK the professor. Looking forward. Yeah, well, the last few have been those kind of weeks. This is college is posted, and there's the free play is Georgia, I believe. Yeah, Georgia's your free play. I got 2 locks. I got a college pro lock and a college lock. College is not a problem this week. Pros, I am just started to look at. At first, they don't make sense, but the more I dig in, then I figure out the puzzle. But yeah, college we got. We know all the teams by now. We can see what Oregon's doing and Georgia and Alabama, Michigan. I mean, I don't see how Iowa even scores in the freaking game. But we know all that. When I look at the pros, not only do you have terrible coaches, you have terrible quarterbacks, and they're all getting hurt. So, like, for example, Boyle's now the Jets quarterback. What do you do with him? You have no idea about him. Is he good? Is he suck? We saw him on the Lions. He sucked. So you really don't know what to do with this Boyle guy. So how do you bet him? Maybe you bet him under because you think he sucks. And with the Jets defense, you're not going to get points. You got your other teams where the need. You got the Niners, Philly, and KC, Green Bay. One warning on that game, it's cold here. although it's supposed to be like 40 on like Saturday. In Green Bay, it'll probably be cold, so keep that in mind. KC's an under team anyway, and Green Bay in the cold, it's probably not going to be too many points in that game. Just an FYI. So now we got to start entertaining the cold weather, New England, the Jets, Pittsburgh, Washington, Philadelphia. What's the weather going to look like in December? It's getting snow and cold. It does play into it a little bit, not too much. I was watching the Iowa State, Kansas State game. There's 6-7 inches of snow. They put up 80 points. So like I say, it's the wind, not anything else. So anyway, no on electric cars. It's only got to be products that have a demand that you create for. So if I want chocolate chip cookies, they make chocolate chip cookies because I wanted it. Those products work, Coca-Cola, whatever. But to try to force a product onto the market and the market doesn't want, then that's not, what do you do with it? Well, we're going to sell electric car. Well, nobody wants it. Well, it'll save the environment. Will it? Will it really? And when I'm stranded and there's no electric charge or the charger's out in my car and I'm freezing to death and I can't get out of my car, how do I charge it? Where, I passed 100 gas stations. I could have just filled up with gas. So how do you convince people to give up gas powered where there's no problem to give up, to go to electric because it's going to save the environment? This is what you're going with. And you know this how? We've been driving gas cars for 100 years. The environment's fine. The pollution doesn't come from the gas. So, really stupid. Anyway, okay, you went to bed at 1, Brandon, but are you not listening when you're on here? Are you just coming on to say, hi, I'm here, and then you leave? I'm kind of confused by that, but yes, I do. Let's go through pro right now, and let's look at the lines. So we got tomorrow night, Dallas 9 at 47.5. Okay, I've got my statistics in. Seattle is still kind of an under team, giving up 23. Geno Smith, I don't think, is the quarterback. All the receivers are supposed to be playing Lockett and my other guy who I keep forgetting, and Walker and the UCLA running back. They're all supposed to be. Nobody's on the questionable or injured. Lockett, Metcalf. So everybody's fine. How good is Smith? We're going to find out against Dallas and Micah Parsons. Dallas is the A team with the 17 defense, mostly Micah Parsons and a few of his team. Dallas is 2 games behind Philly and needs the game. Let's go through the points and then I'll go through the standings. I was looking at the standings a little while ago. So Smith against Prescott. Dallas, very strong as a home favorite in the teaser. Seattle is an exceptional road dog. We got beat by Seattle against Baltimore, where I think I locked it or it was a strong play, and Baltimore just killed them. And so I was shocked by that. I'm really confused by Baltimore. They beat my Seattle and San Diego, and then they lose to Cleveland. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. This is what we're running into, getting the expected outcomes. But Dallas at 9 is a big number. Very tempting to take Seattle and 15 in the game. Dallas has been blowing out. If we look at Dallas, let's do this for pro like we do this in college, where we look at the past games, right? So when we look at this, okay, they beat Washington, who sucks. Washington is a W team that gives up 29. They blow out Carolina, and Carolina's off this week. Let's see what they were last week. Carolina is a Z team that gives up 28. They beat the Giants 49-17, and the Giants, I think, are off this week. They're a Z team that gives up 26. Then they lose to Philadelphia 28-23. Now, they are impressive, beating the Rams 43-20. They beat San Diego 2017. They lose to the Niners 42-10. They beat a Z team in New England 38-3 and lose to a Z team Arizona. So what have they done, really? This is where it's skewed. They beat 3 Z teams 45-10, 33-10, 49-17. However, they play a good Philadelphia team and lose 28-23. They do beat a good Ram team 43-20 and beat a good San Diego team 2017 and get killed by the Niners 42-10. So except for the Niners game, they lose close to Philly. What do we have here? Seattle. Seattle is probably equal to San Diego, right? So San Diego was 2017. So I would think you got virtually the same game here. Do we have San Diego this week? Yeah, San Diego's an over team with a 24 defense. Seattle's kind of an under team with a 23 defense. So San Diego probably scores in 3 or 4 more points than Seattle. So I think Seattle's a very live dog with 15 here. Again, the 3 blowouts by Dallas have been to Z teams with 29, 28, and 27 defenses. You're getting a 23 defense in Seattle. So I don't see a blowout happening here. Prescott, he'll be, Seattle's got a pretty good defense. So a 23 defense, I'd like to be a 20. But Dallas is strong at home. I think if you can get it under 9, maybe get Dallas -2 is okay. I think Seattle at 15, you gotta love that. Let's go over under 47.5. Do I want 41 or 53? Let's see. Seattle's an under team. They don't score. Let's look at Seattle here. What have they been doing? So, okay, against the Niners, they lose 31-13. An A team against the Rams, they lose 17-16. They barely beat Washington 29-26. They lose to Baltimore 37-3. Beat a good Cleveland team 24-20. Beat a shitty Arizona team 20-10, and lose to Joe Burrow 17-13. And they beat the Giants in Carolina, 24-3, 37-27. But they beat the Lions, so that's all that matters. So they're not that good. Again, they got the win against Washington 29-26 at home, and they get killed at Baltimore. They get beat at the Rams. A nice win against Cleveland. Joe Burrow at Cincy 17-13. So I guess, who's got to do? Well, the Niners. Let's compare Dallas to the Niners. The Niners with the 16 defense, Dallas with the 17 defense. They lost 31-13. So they did score 13. They've given up 26 to Washington, 31 to the Niners, 37 to Baltimore, a 20 to Cleveland, a 27 to Carolina. So they were bad defense the first 3 weeks, which makes sense. Then they get going against the Giants. It doesn't matter. It was Cincinnati 17, Arizona 10. That's with Dobbs. Cleveland a 20, a 37, a 20. So their defense isn't really existent. So that's going to put this as really, I'm not sure they're an under team. There may be a W team. They're not scoring. So I think I'm going to circle over in the game, because I think Dallas, I don't think they can really stop Dallas, but I think they can score on Dallas. So I haven't come up with the scores yet, but from what I'm seeing here, you're gonna get probably in the 20s by Dallas. Baltimore 37, the Niners 31. Let's say 24 with Dallas, maybe 27, 27-10, 27-20, and then. But if they're probably going to lose, although the 15 might be good, because they lost to the Niners by 18, Baltimore by 34, and everything else has been close. And the Rams in week 1 by 17. So kind of an up and down. They haven't done well against the better teams. Dallas certainly a better team. It's Prescott you worry about, but I think I wouldn't go more than 3 with Dallas. I'd like to get it under 3, but I think it's an over 41. I think Dallas gets in the 20s, Seattle in the teens at least. 28, 17's a 45. So probably an over game. It's very but this is the NFL right now. It's very confusing. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Greg John, Denver is a hot team now. Ever since they lost to Miami, they woke up. Well, basically, you've got Sean Payton, right? So when you get a good coach, that's what you're looking for, right? So Denver, and I told you they'd make the playoffs before the season started. And this is why teams are having trouble. Carolina fires their coach. Washington's coach sucks. Most of these coaches are terrible. The Bears coach, my God. So you got lousy coaches, which means you got lousy play calling. The players don't know what the hell they're doing. So it's basically, this is what we're dealing with, is a bad GM, a bad coach, players I've never heard of, and nobody watches more college football than me. I can name players on Iowa State and Georgia and Oregon. And I'm looking, I go through the injury list with you guys. I don't even know who the hell any of these guys, I don't know where they're getting these guys from. They're probably a lot from the grocery store. So it ends up where you're really scratching your head. And this is the problem betting it. You just have no talent. However, you get a Sean Payton or Coach Pete or the Rams coach. I don't know how good he is. Andy Reid's okay. He's not as good. He's only good because Mahomes is there, like Belichick was good when Brady was there. No more Brady. Belichick can't win a game. I mean, they're a Z team. How good's Belichick, right? So that's really what you have. So when you get a good coach, you knew he was going to turn it around. At least I did, and I told you that. So it's not surprising. And then you watch them. They play Kansas City close and lose. Then they get KC and they beat them, and then they beat Buffalo, and now they're off and running. Denver's definitely that's their free pick. Take Denver in the 9 is 9.5. Who the fuck's betting Houston over Denver? What are they, out of their minds? I'd like to meet these people. I mean, this is the problem, right? You got idiots betting. They don't know what they're doing, and the lines are moving, and it's confusing. Like, why did, like the Kansas line against Iowa State? It was like Iowa State was favored by 1, went to 2. I'm going, Kansas is the better team, and they won the game straight out, and we're getting 8 points. That's when you just shake your head going, what's going on? Like here, you got Houston going from 3 to 3.5. Denver should be the favorite, and Houston and people are betting Houston. You're like, what are you doing? So a lot of idiots out there. All right, San Diego 641.5, up from 39.5. We'll have to check the injuries to that. San Diego, the over team with the 24 defense. New England's the Z team with the 23 defense. I'm not sure if Zappy or Jones is quartering. I'll go to my one site, and it tells you the starters. Against Herbert, they've looked like shit. Against Baltimore, 10 points. I mean, come on. Terrible play calling. I've never seen such bad play calling offensively and defensively in the whole league. What is it with these little passes to the wide receiver and he loses 2 yards? I mean, it's an obvious set, right? There's like 3 receivers bunched. They're going to throw to the back guy. So the defense isn't stupid. They're all up there looking at it. As soon as the pass goes, they're all going after the guy in the back, and he loses 2 yards. At what point do you think that play's ever going to work? I mean, it's unbelievable how stupid these offensive coaches are. The defensive coaches, well, as I talked about, you're blitzing Fields. He's like 10 of 30 for 5 yards. And then the last drive, they may have a 3-man rush and let him have all day to throw, which, as bad as he is, he's going to hit, and then you're playing a weak zone on top of it. You're letting DJ Moore just run right through it. Like, what are you doing? So really, that's the issue here with the defensive coordinators are just terrible, and the offensive coordinators. Just about every team it's the same thing. Oh, we'll do that wide receiver screen and the crossing pattern and our quarterback will run until we need him at the end of the game, and then we can't win with him because he can't throw a 5-yard pass unless you got Hurts who keeps running in. He can't throw. I mean, the way to beat Hurts is just blitz him. If Buffalo would have just set the house on that touchdown, he never would have scored, right? He'd have gone for nothing. And that's the problem. No, we'll put a spy on him. Yeah, that seemed to work really well. And that's the other problem with these coaches. When the plays aren't working and the spy doesn't work, why are you keep doing it? Go, it doesn't work. I got to do something else. It reminds me of the Tigers in 2014 or 16, whenever. And they got Verlander, Scherzer, and Price is their rotation. They're shutting out Boston every game till the 8th inning. And then the manager would pull his superstar for the reliever who couldn't get a high school team out. And the Tigers lost every game the reliever came in. And they're shutting him out. Verlander's got a one-hit shutout. I'll take you out. What are you taking him out for? What are you resting him for? This is why you're resting him. But he kept doing it because that's what the analytics said. I got to take my pitcher out. There's a big difference taking Verlander out for this reliever that I could hit versus leaving him in there. So not really intelligent, but that's what you're doing. Oh, it's 4th and 1. We got to go for it. Oh, we got to go for 2-point conversion. We're down 15, and if we miss it, we're down 9. Yeah, that makes sense. So you miss the 2-point conversion, you're down 9. Hello, kick the extra point, you're down 8. Then you can score and get the 2-point conversion. Then you need it. But when you're down, if you don't make it and you're down 9, now you're fucked because you need a touchdown. And then you need a field goal. You need 2 more scores because you didn't kick an extra point. How intelligent is that? Mm-mm. All right. So San Diego, New England's the Z team. Zappy or Jones, whoever the hell it is, 23 defense. I thought Belichick had this great defense. 23 defense. San Diego, heads are fully up their ass right now. I think they score a lot, 41. I think this is probably an over, especially if Zappy plays. With Jones, I don't know. And with Herbert, should be able to score on New England, but we got to check the weather. Is there going to be snow and cold in New England? It's snowed and cold in Detroit. So we got to check that out. Detroit, 4.5, 45.5. Over team with the 24 defense. Detroit, New Orleans under team with the 20. Goff against Carr. We have to check. I believe Olave looks like he'll be playing. Kamara's fine. And then you have Thomas is out for a change. What else is new? Detroit, I mean, they're having trouble beating Chicago and Green Bay. I don't know why they're a 4.5-point favorite here. Do we like the over? Well, New Orleans, an under team that gives up 20. They don't score a lot for some reason. So I question their offensive coordinator having a brain in his head. Detroit, very weak defensive secondary. I can't stop Fields and Love. Oh, my God. So I don't know. Carr is getting used to it. Now, keep in mind, Carr comes from Oakland. This is week 13, so he's had maybe 11 games to play with them. No preseason. So the first 4, he's getting comfortable. So he's had about 9 games with these guys. Mike Thomas in and out. Olave, he looks good with. He's got some backups. I think you're finding that the way to beat Detroit is just pressure them. Chicago did it. Green Bay is doing it. I know New Orleans with their defense. I'm not really sure over or under. I just feel Detroit's more of an over team. They can't stop anybody. So I just think that they do that. I think New Orleans and 10.5 is really hard to pass up at home. Detroit will be lucky to just win the game more or less than by 10.5. Again, Detroit beat Carolina, Atlanta, Oakland. They beat a bunch of shit teams. Oakland's playing a little bit better now, but they beat the bottom of the barrel teams. They get in against Baltimore, and San Diego gives them a game. They should have lost to the Bears. They finally lose to the Packers. So what people have in their mind is the Carolina game and the Atlanta game and the Oakland game. Oh, they won by 3 touchdowns. In my mind, I got the Baltimore, San Diego, Chicago, and Green Bay game. So I think New Orleans and 10.5, I think, is good. Over under, I don't know. Detroit is an over team, but New Orleans is more of an under team. Let's check out New Orleans, see what's really going on here. All right, they lose to Atlanta 24-15. They lose to Minnie 27-19 on the road. At home, they beat Chicago 24-17, but I don't think that was with Fields. They beat Indy at Indy 38-27. They lose to Jacksonville 31-24, lose to Houston 20-13, beat the Z team New England, lose to the what's Tampa W. They lose to a weak Green Bay team, beat a weak Carolina team, and beat a weak Tennessee team. So their best win is 38-27 over Indy, 24-17 over the Bears, 34-0 over New England is the only real win they got. Let's look at the Atlanta game. Carr, 24-38, 300 yards, 1 interception. Kamara runs 15 for 69. Kamara catches 5, Olave 9. And that's where it ends. And if we look at Atlanta, Riddler 13-21, 168. They don't pass on them. Two picks, and they still only get 15 points. Brooks Robinson, 16 carries for 91 yards and a touch. Algier, 10 for 64. So they ran it down their throats. Maybe Detroit goes more with their running. Brooks Robinson, 3 receptions, 32 yards. London, 5 for 91. Pitts, 2 for 22. Von Jefferson, 1 from the Rams. So, I mean, they're struggling. They couldn't stop Atlanta's run, but the Detroit doesn't really run. Well, once in a while they do with Montgomery from Iowa State. So they run him. But Riddler, I mean, let Riddler beat you. Where's the coach, right? You got to put 9 in the box and say, Riddler, you got to throw to beat us, and you can't. Here you do have the balance of the Lions. You got New Orleans is not showing me anything. Losing some close games, but losing Jacksonville and Indy and Atlanta. I mean, they're losing to bad teams. Their best win was the New England, which, they're terrible. So I don't know. I don't know how comfortable I am with that. I think. What did we say? Let me look at over-unders here. So New Orleans, 38-27 on Indy, and a 34 on New England. Otherwise, 13 on Houston, 24 on Jack, 24 on the Bears, 19 Mini, 15. I don't think New Orleans scores that much, and they give up. They're going to give up 22-23. What do I got them at 20? So they're probably a 22. Are they more of a W than an under? Maybe. Again, it's semantics. See, and this is the problem. When you look at the whole thing, they're a 20. But if you look at the last 5 games, 60, 80, 110, 130 divided by 5, and they're giving up 25 a game, and they're scoring 25, 50, 70, and 51, 20. So they're like an E team. They're like 20, 23, 24, and they give up 25 the last five. And that's Atlanta, Minnesota, Chicago, Indy, and Jacksonville. So they're really not scoring, they're more low scoring game. Well, I mean, you got a 44 to Atlanta. No, it's a 39. You got a 48 with the Vikings, a 41 with the Bears, high score with Indy, who is high scoring, and with Jacksonville. So against the high scoring teams, they are scoring on them. What do we call Detroit? We do have them as an over. So I think this is an over game, only because I think 45, we go to 39. 39 is nothing. It's 24-17, and you've gotten over. I think Detroit definitely scores in the 20s here, and New Orleans should be able to move the ball in Detroit. Weak secondary, so they're going to throw the ball with Derek Carr and Olave and everything. So let's see what the injuries say here real quick. Michael Thomas out with the knee. Lattimore out. Cam Jordan, ankle questionable. Olave, questionable with concussion. But if he's practicing, he'll probably play, but we'll know more. Rashid Shaheed, another receiver, questionable with the thigh, he'll play. The kicker hurt his groin. A lot of injuries here. Let's see Detroit. Nobody I've heard of. Montgomery with the foot, questionable. I love when they say here, wasn't limited in practice on Wednesday. Isn't today Wednesday? Yeah, today. Well, I don't get the whole thing. Offensive tackle out, guard questionable. Lot of injuries. Hendon Hooker, as they await his return from the non-football injury list. What the hell that means? This is the problem. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, based on the Bear and the Packer game, this should be high scoring because they can't score either. Carr, good quarterback. I don't mind him out of Fresno. Goff, he's getting pretty bad, isn't he? He had like 0 interceptions. I did my quarterback thing yesterday. He's got 8 now. And in New Orleans, they play much better. They're a home dog. They're not a great home dog. They're a bet against team. I'll go through that in a minute. So let's move on. We got Atlanta 334 over the Jets's. Aaron Rodgers is practicing. He's not going to play this week. He said he'll play as long as they have a chance for the playoffs. He doesn't want to ruin it if he's not. Then I heard some chatter on the radio today where he's faking the injury. No, I don't think so. He says, he wouldn't be able to walk on it, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, well, I'm sure there's different types of Achilles heel injuries. There's Dan Marino's and then Aaron Rodgers and how severe and where it is. It's like you break your foot. And if you break your foot, you can break it in 12 different places. Sometimes you can play like Terrell Owens played in the Super Bowl with it, and sometimes you can't. You're in a cast. So where did he do on his Achilles? All I know he's probable, or he's not probable, but he is practicing. I guess they opened up the 21-day window for him, which means probably won't play this week, but by week 3 they'll play like Jefferson. He had to be out. He was out for 4 weeks, and now he's like, okay, now you're playing. And he's probable this week. but they're not. But Dobbs threw 4 bad interceptions, which is his problem. He's not a good quarterback. We all know this, and that's the problem with Dobbs. So with that problem, what does Minnesota do? Now you got Jefferson, and maybe that helps Dobbs, but he had some bad throws against the Bears. Jesus. All right. So, not, Atlanta, I think this is an under game. Boyle, he won't be able to do shit. We don't think. Riddler can't do. They're going to run the ball, which you can't do against the Jets. They're going to have to pass. Boyle's not going to get you points. Strong defenses, a 21 and a 22 defense. Atlanta doesn't score. The Jets don't. The Jets are now a W team because they score like 15 a game now. They're not even scoring. Putting Boyle in, I think, is a huge mistake instead of Zach Wilson. Again, it's the offensive coordinator is the problem, not Zach Wilson. But what are you going to do with Boyle? So I don't expect. I think this is a good underplay. I wouldn't touch either team. Maybe Atlanta, but I don't want Atlanta as a road favorite. They're not that good. Pitt 5.5, 41.5 to Arizona. Kyler Murray against Pickett. Arizona's a Z team with the 27 defense. However, they're a Z team without Kyler Murray with Dobbs. So then you wonder why he's doing in Minnesota. They give up 27. Now that, again, how many pick sixes is Dobbs throwing? How many turnovers is he getting? So it's a short field. So just because they give up 27 a game, is the defense giving up 27? And I think they are. I think they suck. Pitt, however, can't take advantage of it. They're an under team with a 19 defense, as we know. Pitt, strong running, strong defense, a little bit of Pickett. He's getting a little bit better with the back shoulder throws I've been noticing. I would say this is probably a low-scoring game. Do we trust Pickett against Kyler Murray? He likes to run around. Maybe they could upset him. 41, this is where you have your dichotomy. You have Pitt, low-scoring, good defense, in Arizona with Murray running around and no defense. So which way do you go? Well, let's take a look at Arizona. Kyler Murray's only been back let's go to the last 3 or 4 weeks. They lose to Cleveland 27-0. They beat Atlanta. There you go. More trouble with Atlanta, 25-23 at home. They lose at Houston 21-16, and then the Rams beat them 37-14. So, the weaker teams, all right, Cleveland killed them, the Rams killed them. 2 teams with good defenses. Who do you got? You got Pitt here. They do lose to Houston, and then they beat Atlanta, who, they suck with Riddler, and I don't know if Riddler or the other guy was the quarterback. So against the stronger defenses, they didn't show up. The Rams, I don't even know how strong the Rams are. The Rams are a 21 defense. Well, they got Aaron Donald, so you always think they're good. And then Baltimore, this is Arizona. They lose to Baltimore 31-24. And then it's Cleveland 27-0. Houston gets 21 on them. Yeah, so their defense does suck. The last 5 games, 21, 37, 23, 27, 31. So Pitt's gonna score on them. I think Pitt's defense shuts down Murray. They'll spy him or blitz him, whatever. So I think Pitt's maybe a little bit of a better way to go. Over under, we know Pitt's going to score a lot on Arizona because Arizona has no defense. 35, I like 39 better. It was only 33. I think this goes over because I think Pitt will be able to score in the 20s, and I think those Arizona get shut out. Well, they got 14 on the Rams, 0 on Cleveland, 24 versus Baltimore at home. So at Houston, 16, at Cleveland, 0, at Seattle, 10, at the Rams, 9. They don't score a lot on the road, so I don't know about an over here. Yeah, let's question mark that. I think it's more take Pittsburgh. Again, Arizona's a Z team, but Pitt isn't a strong let's look at Pitt. They beat Cincy 16-10 with no Joe Burrow. They lose to Cleveland 13-10. Beat Green Bay 23-19 at home. Beat Tennessee 20-16. Lose to Jacksonville 20-10. Pickett gets out. That was my lock. Any other week it wins. They beat the Rams 24-17. They beat Baltimore 17-10. So if we go back 3, 6, 7 games, 51, 71, 81, 105, 105. Let's call it 120 divided by 3, 6, 7. So it's like under 20 points a game. They're giving up. They've only given up 20 once. That was to Jacksonville. So they gave up 10 to Lamar, 17 to the Rams, 20 because Pickett gets hurt, 16 to Tennessee, 19 to Green Bay, 13 to Cleveland, and 10 doesn't count because Burrow wasn't playing. So they're definitely – you're not going to get a lot of score here. Yeah, I think we got to go under. I think that's the way Pitt plays. They probably won't get 20. Arizona probably won't get 20. So you're dealing with the game in the 30s. You got 47. Yeah, under makes more sense here. When it first succeed, Arizona go to Pittsburgh. Indy 1.5, 42.5. Where's that? 1.5, 42.5. The over teams Indy, 24 defense. Tennessee's an under with a 20. You got Minshew against Levis, 1.5, 42, a 24 defense with Indy and a 20 defense, Tennessee. Tennessee normally plays a good defense. This game, I don't know why Tennessee's not favorite. I would have loved Indy as the dog. I don't love Indy as the favorite. Minshew and Levis, this is a tough one. We'll have to do some more research on it. Miami 9.5, 49.5 against Washington. Miami's an over team. Give up 23 a game. Washington's a W team. They don't score and they give up 29. Tagliabue against Thurston Hall. It's in Washington. We got to check the weather. Although Washington's kind of south. It's not as cold. Miami can't stop the win. Neither can Washington. I think this game's over because I think Miami against this defense puts up at least in the 30s, and we need 43. And Washington should score something. Miami's defense is pretty weak too. So I think this is a higher scoring game with the over teams. Denver, Houston 3.5, 47.5. We've got a B team in Denver. I've got them where their defense is really 22, and Houston's an E team with a 21, Russell Wilson and Stroud. The reason is, 70 points to Miami is really unrealistic. You almost got to throw that out because it's skewing their defense. So I said they gave up 30. I said, they gave up 30. It's an NFL team. And so it takes 5 points off their defense. And then you got them playing Kansas City strong and Buffalo strong and Cleveland strong, although they knocked out Thompson Robinson. So maybe not so big there, but again, the free play is Denver getting the 9.5. I think Denver's the better team, and Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. Who does Houston have? Stroud's starting to throw interceptions. The defenses are equal, but I still think Denver, the way they handled KC and Buffalo, I am not worried that Houston's going to blow them out. I mean, as long as Russell Wilson doesn't get hurt, their defense looks excellent. Stroud does a lot of running around and a lot of busted plays. So Stroud, Tom Brady went back to pass, stayed in the pocket, and fired. Stroud goes back to pass, rolls to his right to the sideline, takes half the field away, and his receivers run. It's all playground stuff with Houston. Their offense is terrible. I mean, they can't play a normal. All you need to do is just blitz somebody from when he rolls to the right, have somebody come in on him and just nail him and quit going for the move. So you've got to attack with safeties, not defensive linemen who get faked out by him. But you bring in a safety. I mean, who does Denver's got some good safeties. They'll hit him. They'll knock him out of the game. So there's no way Houston blows out Denver in this game. Denver should win the game straight out. And we got him as the underdog. Oh, Tampa Bay, 5.5, 36.5 against Carolina. Carolina, the Z team, Tampa Bay and under. Mayfield's questionable. We got Tampa Bay 5.5, 36.5. Carolina with the 27 defense. Tampa with the 21. Carolina fired their coach. Like a new coach is going to do something. Tampa at home needs the game. They've only won. They're only won like 4 games. They got a terrible coach themselves. So it's really just 2 crappy teams, to tell you the truth. So I don't know. I think you go with Tampa just because they're at home. Carolina lost their coach. They don't score, and they give up 27 a game. That Tampa at home should win the game. But again, this whole week just doesn't – like last week we found everything, right? Boom. San Francisco, Dallas, Jets under, this, that. All the way through, I was gold until the San Diego decided not to show up for their own game. But I hammered everything Sunday and most of the Thursday except for the Lion game. So I was on fire, but everything made sense. Yeah, I'll take Frisco over Seattle. Makes sense. This week I'm like scratching my head. I mean, because you got Frisco playing Philly. And that's really the only good game there is. Seattle, Dallas. Dallas should handle them. So I think you go Tampa Bay even 36.5. Maybe you go under, but Carolina doesn't have a good defense, and I don't like going under with 27 defenses. Not really good. The game of the day, San Francisco 2.5, 46.5. This keeps going 3.5, 2.5. 2.5. The 18, the Niners give up 16 against the over team Philly, who doesn't play that good a defense. Purdy against Hurts. Give Purdy a big edge. Hurts cannot throw, but he can run, and he looks to run. He fades back. He's looking to run. What do we say? It's like a chess. You're playing chess without the rooks and the bishops. Frisco with the better defense is 16 against the 22. That's huge. They've lost their 3 games. This is revenge, and this is everything here. Better coach, Frisco. The only thing that Philadelphia does is the Madoff play. 2.5, 46.5. Well, it's really bizarre. In a teaser, Philadelphia is like 22-3 the last 2 years. So in a teaser, Philly and 8.5 is the play. I think you even can go over because I don't think they're going to stop Philly, even with the 16 defense. So again, and you get Frisco in 3.5, probably gold. Philly in 8.5 is probably gold, and over 40 is probably gold because Philly scores a lot, right? They score 28, but they give up 22. So the Niners will be able to score on them. And I think that Philly can score on the Niners a little bit. Should be a very good game. I would love Philly to be favored, unfortunately, but I can't have everything I want. So 2.5 the Niners. So I think it's not an A versus A. It's not Oklahoma, Texas, or Oregon, Washington. This is actually an A team versus an over team. So the Niners should win. It should be fairly close. I think you can go either way in a teaser. 3.5 from Frisco. 8.5 is a little bit better with Philly. And the over-under of 46, over 40, I think gets there very easily. So should be a great game. I think Nick's going to the game, I think he said, or he went to the Buffalo game. But you'll see the difference between the Niners and Buffalo is the defense of the Niners is a whole lot better. I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners go after Hurts and really hammer him. The Rams, 3.5, 39.5 to the Browns. Both teams under. Cleveland gives up 19. LA gives up 21. DTR or JP Walker for Cleveland against Stafford. Huge edge to Stafford. Both under teams. LA's 3.5, 39.5. I think they're, 39.5. It was 37.5. I think this is, this looks like an under to me. I don't see where Cleveland's going to score. Also, keep your eye on their lineman. He's injured. I can never think of his name. We know, their defensive end. He's questionable. So if he doesn't play, it's all Rams. If he plays, it's an under. That's how I view I'll never take Cleveland at 9.5 here. That's not even a thought. KC 6 and 42.5 to Green Bay. KC, a B team, not quite an A team. They're not scoring the way they usually do. And their defense is much better. It's a 17 defense going against Green Bay, who's actually an under team with a 20 defense. If we look at the Lion game to try to get perspective and say, well, let's say that'll be the same score, 29-22. They play a 51 with the Lions, but there's a big difference in the Lions defense than Kansas City's defense. It's night and day. They give up 20. What's Detroit giving up? 24 a game, probably more against a good team, 26-27. Well, they played what? San Diego, Baltimore, Kansas City, or San Diego, Baltimore, San Diego, Baltimore, Seattle. That's what I was thinking. And then Chicago and Green Bay, and they gave up just about 30 points a game, 38 in the first three. And Chicago and Green Bay is like in the 20s. You start giving up 20-some points to Fields and 20-some points to Josh Love, and now you got that's Detroit. But so here's KC with this tough defense. I think I'd rather have Mahomes over Love, better coaching, 17 defense to a 20. I think, and if we get any kind of cold weather, I think this is an under. Vegas has not caught on at Kansas City's an under team. They have a 17 defense. They don't score because they don't have any receivers. They run Pacheco, hit Kelsey. Mahomes runs around, hard to sack. Green Bay, very good defense. Couple guys from Georgia on it, number 7. And they don't score a lot with Love. Love's not going to do a lot here. I think KC wins a close one, and I think it's an under game. And last but not least, Jacksonville, 8.5, 38.5 to Cincinnati. Cincinnati, the under team, really an under team now without Burrow. Browning, he ain't going to get you anything. And then you got Jacksonville, an E team with a 21 defense. Trevor Lawrence, lousy quarterback, but he's been running. So he'll throw for a touchdown, throw 2 picks, and then he runs in a touchdown. He thinks he's a good quarterback. Again, 21 defense against the 22. But with Browning, you're not getting any points. So I think you go with Jacksonville here, keep it under 3, just on the premise of Jacksonville's covering a lot. They're winning a lot at home. But against Browning, what are you going to get? And this is the problem. You don't know who Browning is. If he's the guy from Washington, as I think he is, you ain't getting anything from him. He sucks. I think he was on Tennessee. Maybe he's a guy from Louisville. I don't know. But he stinks. he's not going to light up Jacksonville. What's he going to do with Cincinnati? You got Chase, but Burrow knows Chase's moves because they played at LSU, where Bobby was playing at the time. Here, you don't have. How's Browning know what Chase likes and doesn't like and where to throw it to him? So I think Jacksonville wins. Good spread. I probably play Cincinnati under for a while because they're not going to get points. So they're going to run the ball more. And just they have a fairly good defense, a 22 defense. So that's the bottom line. Again, Dallas, 947.5. Indy, 1.5. 42.5 to Tennessee. San Diego, 641.5 to New England. Detroit, 4.5, 45.5 to New Orleans. Atlanta, 334 to the JETSs. Pitt, 5.5, 41.5 to Arizona. Miami, 9.5, 49.5 to Washington. Houston, 3.5, 47 to Denver. That's your free pick, Denver. Tampa Bay, 5.5, 36.5 to Carolina. LA, 3.5, 39.5 to Cleveland. We don't know the quarterback. Frisco, Philly, the game of the week. Frisco at Philly, favored by 2.5, 46.5. We got KC 6, 42.5 over Green Bay. And we got Jacksonville, 8.5, 38.5 against Cincinnati. Quarterbacks, Seattle Smith against Prescott Thursday. Minshew Levis in the Tennessee. Herbert against either Zappi or Jones. San Diego, New England. Goff against Carr, Detroit, New Orleans. Riddler against Boyle. Really, this is the NFL, huh? Riddler against Boyle, Atlanta. The over-under at 34 is kind of high, isn't it? It's like Iowa football here. Arizona, Pitt. We got Kyler Murray against Pickett. Miami, Washington. Tagovailoa against Howell. Denver, Houston, Russell Wilson against Stroud. Carolina, Tampa, we got Young. I think Mayfield's questionable, but he'll probably play. Maybe we get Trask. I'd like that. Cleveland, LA. I don't know if it's Thompson Robinson or Walker against Stafford. Frisco, Philly, Purdy against Hurts. KC, Green Bay, Mahomes against Love. And Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Browning against fucking Trevor Lawrence. Oh, my God. This is pathetic. Hey, Bobby Bo, what's going on? Well, thank you, Greg. No, I think there's worse. Well, yeah, they might be the worst defense. They're up there. They're 29. And they gave up 31 to the Giants. So, yeah, they're probably right up there. Carolina's what? 27. So, them and Carolina are right up there. It's not like college where you got these 37 defenses like on Akron or Kent or something. Professor, although very sick right now, Bobby Bo, what's wrong? I know you had a pain in your side yesterday. What happened? Okay. Graham, Greg of the Vampire's been he's vampiring me. I am drinking a hot ginger tea and hopefully recover soon. Do you have a fever or a pain in the side or what do you have? By the way, how much honey do you put in your tea? Yeah, one teaspoon, the little spoons, one of those, not the soup spoons. And that's good, but just once. You don't want too much sugar. And then squeeze some lemon and then the cinnamon and the ginger, and you're all set. Got a bad cold, body aches, so you probably have a flu. That's what Daria had. She actually got a flu. She was on her ass for a week, but she's back at work again, so that's good news. Bobby, just take that hot sauna and take that hot tub and, just sleep on it. You want to sweat it out. So that's why a hot sauna and a hot tub will help you. And just get a lot of sleep. Let your body heal. So you'll be good. Only bad thing, I keep getting in hiccups when I drink hot broth or tea. Really? There's a cure for that. I think it's something like holding your breath or bang, popping a bag or something like that. Yeah, I used to know what it was. It's some involuntary thing in your chest, but yeah, just try holding your breath, or really just start thinking about your gold and silver. So let's see. So I wanted to show Bobby our gold's up again a ton. Gold's up to 2044 now, and silver's at 2502. So silver's holding above 25. Gold's 2044 on its way to 20,000. So I'm not expecting gold to get back to 2,000. It might test it, but that'll be the lowest. And again, it doesn't really matter. This is paper gold. This isn't real. All right, so let's go to the injuries. Go grab my Cougar hands. Yeah, you won't have any hiccups after that. All right, so Arizona. The problem with looking at Arizona, I can't tell you. Zach Ertz, I know he's out with the quad. The other guys, I can, R. Fenton, the cornerback's out. Like who? So what we know is Carolina fired their coach, Frank Wright. Who cares? Why did you draft Steve Young is the question. He stinks. He doesn't get to play New Mexico State and Mississippi State here. He's got to play the pro teams. He's not very good. You want to blame the coach. Well, Frank Wright's a pretty good offensive mind. You can't blame him. And then why don't you just bring in a offensive coordinator or a quarterback coach? Why do you hire a head coach because he's a good offensive guy? Just hire an offensive coordinator who's a good guy, or a quarterback coach, and bring in a good coach. And then all these teams are doing this, bringing in he coached 5 minutes at San Francisco. Let's make him the head. Oh, he's from the Rams. And guess what? The Rams lost the Super Bowl in New England, 13-3? Yeah, so how much of a genius is this guy from the Rams? The Niners are even worse. This guy doesn't know when he's got a lead. He wants to throw the ball. What an idiot. So this is where these guys are coming from. They don't know what they're doing. And it's the same fucking offense on every team. All right, Atlanta, we've got – I have nobody. Baltimore's off. Buffalo's off. Carolina, questionables. Wow, they got 4 linebackers out. No wonder their defense sucks. Yeah, so you can see a lot of these teams are bad because of the injuries. And since they pay the quarterback a lot of money, they don't have enough money to get good backups. So once you get 4 injuries to your linebackers, you're fucked. That's all you're getting. All right. The Bears, Foreman is questionable. They don't have much injured. Cincinnati, T. Higgins is questionable with the hamstring. Burrow, of course, is out. That's it. So they're fairly healthy, but Burrow is such a huge loss. Cleveland, Kareem Hunt's questionable with the groin. Thompson Robinson, questionable with concussion. So we really can't bet Cleveland till probably Saturday, till we know a little bit more. I think they're an under with the Rams anyway, but especially if Hunt is out. Myles Garrett, that's the guy. Myles Garrett's questionable with the shoulder, so if he's out, we just jump on the Rams. If he plays, it's an under. Amari Cooper, questionable with ribs. And again, see, these teams cannot handle the injuries. Once you get look at how many guys are out for Cleveland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You've got 12 guys on the IR for Cleveland. How do you bet them, right? I mean, especially when one of them's the quarterback. So you got 12 guys out. How do you bet Cleveland? You're betting third string guys, basically, right? You got what do we have? We got 2 wide receivers out. We got defensive tackle and guard and a cornerback, and they're all over the place. They're losing one player from every position. It looks like they got watching out. They got 2 safeties out, a corner, an offensive tackle, another one. So 2 offensive tackles, a defensive tackle, 2 wide receivers, and a guard, another guard. So they got a lot of offensive linemen out. Dallas, we got tomorrow, so let's look at that. Probable. Micah Parsons is probable with the illness. Probably got Bobby's flu. It's probably where you got it from, Bobby, was Micah Parsons. I thought I saw him at that LSU game. He was stalking you, I thought. Two Fowler. I mean, we know Diggs is out. Vander Esch, we know that's out. So really nothing new. We got Dowdell and Micah Parsons and some weak guy, probable. Curse, a safety, probable. A couple of questions. So Dallas is fairly healthy, although they wish that Prescott was hurt. Denver, Butch Johnson, wide receiver from the Dallas Cowboys, is playing for them from the 70s. He's out with a hamstring. They're pretty. Denver is very healthy. Detroit, Montgomery now is questionable with the foot. If he's out, that's a big loss for the over and for Detroit. I don't know any of these guys. Green Bay, Dillman, the running back's questionable with a groin. Aaron Jones, questionable with the knee. I thought he was out for a while, but he's just questionable with the knee. Although I don't think he's playing. That's it for Green Bay. So those guys are out. It's all Kansas City. Plus, check the weather. I'll do a weather check. Probably very cold in Green Bay now. Now, Bobby, I need a ruling. Is Greg John's question a vampire? What's my favorite tea? Is that a vampire question when we're talking football? Why Micah Parsons got the flu too? It says he's got an illness. So it's not an injury, right? He's got an illness, which is probably the flu or COVID or something. Houston. Case Keenum all of a sudden's on Houston. He played college ball there. Otherwise, I don't. Fairburn, well, he's the kicker. Who cares? Wow, look at all the injuries. Oh, my God, on Houston. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They have 15 guys out, 16. 16 guys out for Houston. O-tackle. 2 safeties, 2 D tackles, another safety, a center and a guard, and an O tackle, and another O tackle, and a wide receiver. I mean, and a center. I mean, Houston's got to be on their third string line. All these guys are out. IR, ankle, back, knee, whatever. Well, yeah, but they're not playing Sunday. Dallas is playing tomorrow. Yeah, Denver. Yeah, Sean Payton. We're betting, but no. Yeah, Bobby. Dallas plays Seattle tomorrow, so I'm sure he'll play. But it'll be like Michael Jordan playing with the flu, but he got everybody on the other team sick. How could you cover the guy? He's hacking all over you. I'd be like, this guy can't play with the flu. Indianapolis plays Tennessee. We've got Jonathan Taylor, the running back, is out till December with a thumb, key injury. And the rest of the guys, T. Leo is out, the defensive end. We all know who he is. Okay. Jacksonville. Agnew, wide receiver, and that's about it. So they're fairly healthy. Kansas City, McKinnon is questionable. Tony's questionable. Hardman's out. Ross is out with a personal day. What, he's taking a personal day? He's going to the beach. So this is the problem with Kansas City, right? They don't have a receiver. Tony's been in and out. Hardman's out. Jay Ross, whoever that is. So he's got nobody to throw to. This is why KC's not scoring. But this defense is incredible. It's a 16 fucking defense, 17 defense. So, yeah, get to your unders in the Kansas City game. Like I called last week, that was the big lock, 33 units or so. Ohio State, Kansas City, and never a question. It got close near the end. They got to like the 40, got sacked, and then it went over on downs, and KC took 3 knees. So it was really, it got to 48, but it was really never threatened at that point. San Diego's got at New England. Bosa out with the foot. What else is new? I'm shocked. And that's it. And Palmer is out, and Williams, the wide receiver. So they are hurting at offense. It's just bad play calling. The Rams, we've got defensive back out, defensive back questionable. They only have 4 guys listed. One of them, Stenson Benson. He's out with a non-football illness, whatever that means. Oakland, is Oakland playing? I don't think they are. No, I don't see Oakland. Miami's at Washington. Couple of running back and a wide receiver out. Ahmed and Claypool. Big deal. That's it. So Miami's fairly healthy. Minnesota's off. The Giants, I think they're off. But the JETSs are playing. And Aaron Rodgers is practicing right now. He's in the 21-day window. So he's kind of saying, look, I'll play if we can make the playoffs, which in that side they can make the playoffs because they got Miami, they can still beat Miami. So I think he'll play unless they're really, really behind. But I don't think they're that far behind. They had some good wins. But putting in Boyle instead of Wilson is not helping your team at all. See, again, Bobby, Greg is just vampiring you. He's kissing your ass. We know your cards will never be worth more than 50 cents. Hey, Todd. Busy today. Ready for championship weekend. I got gold. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. Yeah, it should be a good week. I'm working on the pros now. Talking it over with you guys helps me kind of figure things out. It's such a nasty week, though. I don't have Baltimore. I don't have Buffalo. I got Frisco playing Philly. I got KC, Green Bay. Then you got like Atlanta and the Jets, Arizona Pitt. Man, it's like you got shit and shit and shit. But college is lining up very good for us this week. But Todd, you're good for the end of the year. So anybody, if you want this week's college and all the bowls, it's $200 special, and you'll go all the way through the playoffs. If you want the pros and the college through the Super Bowl, $250. So we can do that. That's not a problem because otherwise it'd cost you $100 a week for pros. You got another 7-8 weeks of that. right there, it's worth it. But then to get all the bowl games, we hit a lot of locks last week. The year before, the year before, I hit 8 locks. I hit every lock in college. It was beautiful. I was in Amsterdam, and every game's winning. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, red hot. So I'll leave that up to you if you want. You get this week's the college divisional championship week, whatever you want to call it, and then all the bowl games. I don't even know what's what anymore. And we got to be very careful who's playing and who's sitting out. You're almost better like with Air Force and Utah State. Their guys are going to play. It's the bigger schools. Ohio State, are their guys going to play, or Georgia Tech or Tennessee? You don't know if their players are going to play. Is USC going to play? Is Hartman going to play? I mean, that's the problem. I got to get ready for the pros. What kind of shit is that? I don't know. Don't like it. All right, the JETSs. Woods. Like I said, we've got Aaron Rodgers is now questionable. 21-day window. He's getting ready to play. So we will see. Otherwise, some injuries, but not a bunch of questionables. One guy with an Achilles, A. Woods, and a couple others out. New England, Bobby Bow. My car will fly when they stop suppressing the price along with the gold. Yeah, I think everybody's going to jump to the gold, though, first. Nice work, Todd. Got some gold. How about silver? He goes for the kids. He's not at the kids' table like you, Bobby. He's at the grown-up table buying gold. But what I was telling Todd is you can buy the Philharmonic, you can buy the Cougaran, the Maple Leaf, the Eagle, and whatever the other one. There's the Australian Kangaroo. I wouldn't spend more on the Indian. I would have bought more Eagles if I can't buy Maple Leafs or Cougarans. But I always get the Maple Leafs and Cougarans because they're cheaper and they're an ounce of gold. And all I care about is it doesn't. All it says is gold's at 2,045 an ounce. It doesn't say 2,045 US and 2,040 Cougaran and 2,041 Maple Leaf and British Pound. It just says gold 2044. They're just dicking around with the stores because more people want US in the US. But if we go to Switzerland, if we take a field trip to Switzerland, Egon will take all our gold. So New England. Do they have any players? Bote, our guy from LSU's out with the hamstring. That's about it. Nah. So we'll look at the starting players in a minute. New Orleans, Olavi is questionable with a concussion. Shaheed is questionable with a thigh. Jeff Graham, the tight end, is questionable with an illness. He's got the flu also, I guess. Michael Thomas, wide receivers out. He's always hurt. He's like Julio Jones. These guys it's a joke. Philadelphia, big game with the Niners. They've got questionable. Nakobe Dean, our Georgia linebacker's out with the foot. Dallas Goedert, tight end, is out with the forearm. That's it. Davis from Georgia is questionable with an undisclosed. I'll tell you that one. The play I saw when Davis, the Georgia defensive tackle, was step for step with Josh Allen late in the game, and he slides out and he knocks Allen out of bounds. He keeps up with him and knocks him out of bounds. And 3 guys of the Buffalo look like defensive linemen, probably from Georgia, came up to him, and I've never seen this. He came up to the Buffalo players are coming up to the Philadelphia player, making sure he was okay. The line, you could see the linemen were like, because he was gassed, so he's catching his breath. You could see that. I never saw players from the other team come up to your Georgia guy going, "Are you okay?" I mean, they literally, are you okay? Are you okay? I've never seen that before. Normally, the Buffalo guys wouldn't give a fuck. They were all, are you okay? I just, that's how strong he is. So he's questionable. He got tired against that, but you're not going to see. So here's the difference in the game. Purdy's not really going to run like Josh Allen did, but he's a much better pocket passer. The defense, though, is going to put pressure on Hurts and not going to let him run. This is the difference in the game. It's the Niner defense coming after Hurts, where Buffalo's doesn't have a good defense. That's the problem with Buffalo. That's why we don't like them. We like the Niners with their defense. We don't like Philly's defense. Schwartz went to Cleveland, and now Philly's defense isn't that good. So keep that in mind. That's what we're looking for. So it's a big matchup difference with the Niner defense and Hurts. Good luck, buddy. You're not going to just run around like you did against Buffalo. And I don't think the Niners are going to spy you. I think they're going to pressure you. Let's see if Bosa's playing, but that's the big difference. Frisco 2.5 or 46.5. It's a tough one to see because if the Niner defense takes control, Philly ain't going to do shit. Pittsburgh, Fitzpatrick safety, questionable with the hamstring. 2 other safeties are out. Riley and Neal are out for Pittsburgh. 2 linebackers are out for Pittsburgh. A defensive back and a defensive tackle are out for Pittsburgh. Jesus Christ. Only 1 guy on offense. Makes sense. All right, the Niners. Ray McLeod is questionable with the ribs. Buford, Beal. I don't see anything on Bosa, so he is playing. You're in trouble, Philly. When Bosa's stapping it up, you're in trouble. They have 6 guys out. 2 of them are safeties. Remember, I read, what was it, Houston? They had 20 guys out. Seattle. Kenneth Walker. Now that's tomorrow night now, Bobby, not Sunday. Kenneth Walker, doubtful with an oblique. Let's see. Questionable. I don't see my receivers questionable. Lockett and our other guy. I did that. Metcalf. They're both playing. Neither of them are injured for the first time in a while. Kenny Walker, the running back's doubtful, but they got Chardonnay from UCLA, who's very good. That's not your problem. Your problem is going to be getting your 3 interceptions from Prescott, and Micah Parsons is your problem. Interesting. Tampa Bay, Mayfield's probable, and Larry David is questionable with the groin, and Dean is questionable at cornerback. Tennessee. If it isn't Henry, then I don't know anybody else on the team. And Washington, the vaunted 29 defense. Harris is out, linebacker. Who cares? S. Charles, the guard's out. We all heard of him. That's it. I mean, I don't. And their Aaron Rodgers, the tight end, has an Achilles also. Must be an Aaron Rodgers thing. So those are your injuries. Nothing. The biggest one is Jefferson probably going to play, and Mayfield looks like he's playing. Walker looks like he's out for Seattle. Prescott's okay for Dallas. Henry's not listed. San Diego looks, Bosa's out. Frisco, Bosa's playing. Kansas City, couple receivers, makes the under look even better. Arizona, Pitt, they're fairly healthy. Miami, Washington. We don't know anybody on Washington State. So they fired Carolina's coach. Why did they hire him in the first place? If you wanted a quarterback coach for Steve Young, why didn't they just hire a quarterback coach? Not a head coach who can't coach to be the head coach, because he can help Steve Young develop. I mean, if they want, they can go dig up Bill Walsh. He could probably help him. But he is dead, so I don't know about that. But I don't see it. Just you've got to. Washington was why Ron Rivera did nothing at Carolina. What the fuck do you think he knows about coaching? And you put him in Washington. He was a defensive linebacker for the 84 Bears, 85 Bears, and yet Washington's got a 29 defense. I guess he didn't learn too much playing for the Bears, right? I don't know. It's crazy. So looking into it more, this will be. I'm still trying to figure out Dallas, Seattle. That's a lot of points to give Coach Pete 15 points, for Christ's sake. It's not like they're Carolina or Washington. This is Coach Pete in Seattle. I mean, they were 23 defense. They got Smith and Lockett and Metcalf. I mean, it's not like they don't have receivers. And you got Prescott's going to give you 2 interceptions. So I don't know that they just put up the 4. As I said, they put it up against Washington and Carolina, the Z team and the Giants. They put it up against 3 Z teams. They put up 40 points a game. They're not playing a Z team. They're playing an under team with a 23 defense and Coach Pete. You're not beating them 40-0. I hate to break it to you. And yet they're 9-point favorites. I'm like, okay, Baltimore did blow them out, but I don't know. I'm struggling with that. Well, you better hurry up, Todd. You don't. Next year it might be very soon. Well, that's how you got to handle these running quarterbacks. Like Field, look at Minnesota. They blitzed them the whole game. Fields did nothing. With a minute left in the game, what do? They rushed 3, and I could have thrown that pass to DJ Moore. You're playing a soft zone. He runs right through the zone, and he's wide open. Where's the blitz? You don't blitz. All you got to do is blitz Fields. You can't do anything. You can't read it. I mean, just at that time of the game, if you're going to lose, blitz him and let him beat you. Otherwise, if you don't, he's just going to run around and run for 5 yards and 10 yards and stuff like that. It's a little vampire there, Greg and John. Todd, TK is king. Moore ready to be a head coach. Oh, is Kellen Moore? I don't know. He was offensive coordinator at Dallas. They were okay. He's offensive coordinator at San Diego. He doesn't good. I think he's a good offensive coordinator. He's got a good offensive mind. I don't know that makes him a head coach. You need a very strong Vince Lombardi, Hank Stram, even Parcells, Bill, Joe Gibbs. Never a big Shula fan, but you've got to be kind of tough and get the respect of your players. I don't see Kellen Moore like that. That's why I don't see the guy at Miami being a head coach or the Andy Reid. He's not a good head coach. He's got Mahomes. In Philadelphia, he had whatchamacallit. Jesus Christ. I can't think like Donovan McNabb. Yeah, Donovan McNabb goes to 5 straight championship games, doesn't win a Super Bowl, and you think he's a good coach. And the only reason he's winning here is he's got Mahomes, who's the best player in the league. So me and Bobby would win. We're going to go sit down. Mahomes, you call the plays. You're the offensive coordinator. Just do what you want out there, and we'll win all the games. And then, well, now you're a great coach. I mean, so it depends who you have. I don't think Kellen Moore's, I don't. I think he's a good offensive coordinator because he came from Boise and that. I don't know that he knows defense. That's unknown. He's got to be better than the San Diego coach now. I mean, that guy just sucks. So, not sure. Bobby, my card will fly. Yeah, keep dreaming. Or unless your card is Tom Brady. Is that your other name? Your maiden name? Um, so that's it. Let's check the college lines real quick. I'm not going to go through them. I went through them yesterday. I'll go through them tomorrow. Well, you've got the Liberty 10.5, 56.5 to New Mexico State. The games played at Liberty's home field. We got Oregon 9.5, 65.5. They're listening to me, Bobby. Down from 66.5. I believe I played that game. Let me check. Let me double check the site. Do I got Oregon? Okay, yeah, I played Oregon. Okay. Pretty much I got the college plays posted. So Oregon 9.5, 65.5. The game's in Vegas of all places. Texas Oak State, Texas 14.5, 54.5. This was 56.5. Maybe it was 54. Can't read my own writing. Anyway, against Oak State. And games in Jury World, Toledo 7.5, 44.5. Hasn't moved. The games in Detroit of all places. If I won, I'd want to start coaching. Boise 2.5, 58.5 to UNLV. And the game's in Vegas. Home game for Vegas or a home dog. Tulane 3.5, 47.5 against SMU. The quarterback SMU is out. The game's in Tulane, so it's a home game for them. But no quarterback for Tulane, and this should be a defensive struggle. Georgia 6.5, 55.5 to Alabama. They're dicking around 56.5, 54.5, 55.5. Just pick a number, boys. 6.5. This is your free play. Take Georgia. Even. Watching the Auburn tape, they ran it right down Alabama's throats, and Alabama couldn't stop them. Should have won the game. A terrible no call on an offensive pass interference. Gary Danielson didn't see it. Oh, that's okay. They can hand check. Oh, bullshit. He pushed him. He got open 5 yards because he pushed the guy. Danielson, what an idiot he is. You can see how all these analysts are idiots. So Georgia even, they should just pound it, put up their 40 points on Alabama, shut them down. Milroe's going to struggle here against this team. If he struggled against Auburn, he's struggling here. So I look for Georgia to win. They're not going to lay down like they did last time because if Alabama beats them, I don't know that they get in because Alabama jumps them, and you've got Oregon and Washington, and you've got Michigan. I don't know that there's room for Alabama and Georgia. In fact, I doubt it. If Texas wins, they beat Alabama. They have one loss. You got to let Texas in. Oregon, Washington winners in. Michigan's in, and Georgia's probably in. So, yeah, we need like 18 playoff. Why is there 14? You're telling me you can't find 4 teams. Oops, what happened this year? Oregon, Washington, Texas, Oklahoma, Michigan, Ohio State, that's 6. Georgia, Alabama, that's 8, and Florida State's 9. So you got 9 teams in, and you can only have 4. Kind of idiot come up with that. Well, we can't find more than 4 teams that can win this thing. So take Georgia even. It's in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome. Troy 5.5, 52.5, down from 6.5. Not sure why. Well, I could see the App State betting. It's at Troy's home field. You know how I like App State. Florida State 2.5, 47.5. How is Florida State going to score? The game's in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the Panthers play. Louisville with the 20 defense. Florida State with the 17 defense without a quarterback. Louisville doesn't have a quarterback either, even though it's their starter. First one to 14 wins. And Michigan, 22.5, 34.5. They're dicking around here. This was 22.5, went to 23.5. 22.5, 34.5. Michigan, the A team, 10 defense. Iowa, the under team. They scored 10, give up 12. They played 10-point games, but not here. Games in Indianapolis. Go Blue. This will be the one time I'm actually rooting for Michigan. So that's your college. After that, I think we got Army, Navy next week. Don't have the bowls, so Todd bought the bowls already. So I give Todd the Todd gets this week, and he gets all the bowls for the $100. If he wanted, he could have had all the pros through the Super Bowl plus that for $200. So that's your the bowls are always like 100, but I'm throwing in this week also, and then the pros we can go 100 through the Super Bowl, and then 200. I'm usually pretty deadly in the bowl games, as you saw the last 3 or 4 years, because it's beautiful. Because you don't have the Z team, so now you either got the Cals playing, the Texas Techs or the Kansas States, or you got the UCLA's playing under teams. So it makes it real easy because you know the team. So you either playing overs or unders, or USC. Are they even in a bowl game? Did they win 5 games? And what happened to Prime? How come Prime? Did they win 3 games, 4 games is all? Colorado started playing the big boys, not TCU, and they were dead. They absolutely. What happened to Coach Prime? Is he really not that good? Does he forget there's defense on that, even though he played cornerback? Is he forgetting that you got to play defense also, not just offense? Coach Prime. How does he not have a defense and go? He's got to go play Oregon, Washington, USC, and he doesn't have a defense. What the fuck is wrong with that guy? Yeah, that's the only way his kid's gonna play. He'll take like the Oakland job, right? Prime time will take the Oakland job and draft his kid, and they'll go 3-15 for the next 5 years, and then they'll both go off into the sunset. Prime is the man. He'll be back. Oh, I'll take that to the bank, Bobby. He played for the Falcons and the Braves on the same day. Yeah. Okay. And he he was a great cornerback. He sucked in baseball, just fast. Well, you probably were you playing? Yeah, you played when he played. That is funny stuff about him becoming coach for, well, how else is he going to get his kid in there, right? He's not that good. Lots of over games in the bowl games. Well, the last few years, it depends on the matchup they give us. Like I said, that's why we chart it all. So if we get Georgia Tech playing Cal, that'll be that's a 100-point game. If we get Uglia Buglia, we're hoping for an under team because he's terrible. He's still waiting to show up for that Oregon game. What was he like, 2 of 15 for 10 yards against Oregon? This Oregon-Washington game, I am not expecting a close game. I am not expecting 36-33. The way Washington's looked, the way Oregon's looked, they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. I'm right now. If I get an 8.5, I'm going to play Oregon. I'm not laying 3.5. But if I get an 8.5 or 7.5, I'm all in on Oregon. I saw it at 8.5 Monday. I should have jumped on it. I didn't think it would go to 9.5 and stay there. His son had a great start, but got too happy and showed off a little too much. He should have remained stoic if he was smart. Well, Primetime had him winning the Heisman because he threw for 500 yards against this wonderful TCU defense, which thought they were playing Michigan. I mean, TCU was not, how did he look? How did he look against Oregon? 44-6. Yeah, Heisman Trophy for what, right? So that was just, the whole thing was a Ponzi scheme. The Madoff, Colorado scheme. Madoff got him in to be the head coach. The son goes there. Yep, I've seen it before. The Madoffs. Okay, enough kissing Bobby Bo's ass. He's not here to have his ass kicked. All he needed was another 300 home runs. He could have been in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. I got to see one of your later top cards to see your total stats. But enough kissing Bob. Bobby's not here for his ass to get kissed. He's here to learn. Yeah, I am funny, and I am stoic, and I am an INFJ and everything else. I had a good interview today with Wells Fargo for a IT financial analyst position, paying good money. Out of the blue, I got a call yesterday, and I thought they were just seeing if I was a fit, and then they present the job. I said, go ahead, and they actually asked for my references already, which I was shocked. I give them Mercedes references, but nobody's still there. They all moved on or whatever. So she asked for phone numbers. Fortunately, I had my two bosses' phone numbers. My one boss would call me and tell me, oh, you're still working. You're still, because that's when COVID hit. And they laid off all the contractors but me. I was critical need. That's the professor. Like, my boss could not do her job without me. And so she said, she went to the VP in Stuttgart, Germany, and said, I need Howard. And they signed me to a 1-year extension. And then COVID hit, and then there was nothing they could do. They wanted to hire me. The rule is after 2 years, they got to hire you or let you go. I was there 4 years, but they couldn't. They had a hiring freeze on because of COVID. Plus, with what's going on in Germany now, it's really, really bad. I don't know. I just interviewed today, so we'll find out. But I have worked at Mercedes. That was a great place, even though I'm not German. It was the first month I didn't like it. They just had an attitude about them. But once you prove yourself to them, they love you. So once I did that, like I said, I was there 4 years. The guy before me, my boss didn't like. She fired him. And she brings me, and then I hear this. I'm like, oh my God, what did I get into? And then she loved me. I started doing quick things for her. That's the way she wanted. She fired the guy because he didn't do what she wanted. Who the fuck is that stupid? You got a boss. The only role in the job is to do what the boss asked for. Then you please your boss, you keep your job. So I did what she wanted. I didn't care. That's because you are stoic. You blow your ego out. You just say, fine, what's the problem? I'll solve it. Here you go. Oh, this is great. And off we went. And that was it. Well, something like, it's this one's a senior financial analyst. Well, it's like an IT financial analyst. That was the Mercedes job I was telling you about. This is a new one at Wells Fargo for like an IT financial analyst. So what's happening is Wells Fargo is buying like a little bank, and they want to make sure somebody is overseeing it and doing all the, dot the I's, cross the T's. And I told the recruiter, you're going to have a whole lot of this because all these banks are going out. So the bigger banks are going to be consolidating the little banks. I said, you're going to have 1,000 of these positions. So for me, I'm like, yeah, let me take it. I'll learn it, and then I'll be gold for the other 5,000 banks that merge, right? With prime time in the playoffs, I thought the kid was the Heisman Trophy winner, hands down. And the funny part is the kid who should win the Heisman won't win it, which is Ollie Davis, Oklahoma State running back, 1,500 yards. I don't even think he played the first few games. It's the guy's Jim Brown. He's strong as an ox and very fast. It's like Earl Campbell, but he doesn't run over players. He runs around them. He's not Barry. He doesn't move, put the shake on you, but he breaks through the line and there he is, and then he just runs by you. He's probably like O.J. Simpson with more power, like Emmitt Smith and O.J. Simpson combined. Great player, best player in college football. Should be the first running back taken, but with these GMs, they're so fucking stupid. They probably won't, but this guy is a great running back. Absolutely. So I was talking about Stoic earlier in the day before you guys got here, Bobby. So my friend Alyssa, I picked her up today. She needed a ride, and then she came back here, and then I drove her home, and she's crying, and the boyfriend's yelling at her, and this other guy, and I'm like, okay, I can't handle it. I need a peaceful, stoic setting. You're fucking killing me. She's crying, and she's this. I need money. Said, I gave you your birthday money. Gave her like $100. And then she gives me you give money to the other girls. I go, first of all, that's none of your business. Second of all, it's usually for the birthday, and I gave you money for your birthday. What the fuck are you talking about? And she won't stand, because you got to stand up to your boyfriend. Tell him to go fuck off. He's giving her a hard time. So I put on the Stoic on YouTube while we're sitting down, and I said, you got to watch this. And it was like 9 ways to get away from poisonous people. And, she watched a few of it, but she's always on the phone, and she's yelling, and she's crying, and she's out of her fucking mind. I'm like, okay, I can't handle this. And then she asked me for money again, and I said, no. And I'm being stoic, right? Because there's an episode on how to handle this. And I said, no, I've given you money. I'm not giving you any more. I buy gold and silver with my money. I don't have anything in the bank. I got to put money in because I got rent due on the 2nd. So I don't know what my balance is. It's not a lot. So with that, I'm going to have to add some money back in until I get Social Security, which is now $2,400. It got moved up like $40. They moved it up. So I'm like, whoa, yeah, $23.40 to $23.80. Like, whoo, now I can retire. So I'm like, okay, let's get the gold up. But anyway, so I'm showing her Stoic. I said, just tell the guy to fuck off. And she's asking me, and I'm telling her, fuck off. Like, no, I gave you money. I'm not giving you more. And stop asking. Stop being rude. I was nice. Why are you're killing the goose that laid the golden egg? What the fuck are you doing? I'm on your side. I'm helping you. I drove you to wherever, and I'm going to drive you home. And it's a good half hour away. That's why I'm late, and I'm just exhausted. I haven't gone swimming yet. I'll have to do that after, because I went to her like 9 in the morning. And then I had my interview I thought it was 12 to 12:30. It was 12:30 to 1, but she took me at 12, which was nice. She says, I have to see you. Like, I got to see what you look like. And I go, so if I'm ugly, I can't get the job, but if I'm attractive, I can get it. I mean, is that not the stupidest thing you ever heard of? So I've got to see what you look like. I got to see you face to face. So she sees me on Teams, and so, okay. And then, then she applied me for the job, and I thought I did not like it. It was not stoic at all. Fortunately, I'm not really ugly, so it's okay. But I did not. Don't check out my looks to give me a fucking job. That's ridiculous. She was pretty. She was actually in Arizona working for this company in Michigan. But anyway, so the interview went well, and I'll probably hear by the end of the week. I'm up for that law one, but that's like 2 or 3 days a week. This is the $21 an hour one that obviously this is a misprint, right? And he says, well, what are you looking for? I go, 55, 60, what I got at Harley. And, oh, yeah, that's, I doubt I'll get it because I want probably too much. You don't mistakenly put 21 down and think you're actually going to get a finance manager to take $21 an hour. I mean, who are you going to get there? You're going to get the packer from the grocery store. You're not going to get a guy with a master's and 25 years at Mercedes and Ford and GM to go work for $21 an hour. Out of his fucking mind. I agree 1,000%. I can't stand being around drama. Life is full of so many things to focus and improve in daily as it is. Arguing with family, et cetera, is just burning energy, and it's vampire. Right now we know it's vampire. That's because she's going to hire the professor and then ask you to lay the smackdown on her. Well, yeah, she's in Arizona, and I wouldn't be working for her. I'd be working for Wells Fargo. She wasn't Wells Fargo. She was like a recruiting contract. Like I'd work contract for her group for 6 months and then get hired. And I'm thinking, well, maybe it's a bank. They'll be around. But if it, like, I told her, I'm glad I don't want to be in auto anymore because they won't be around anymore. After another 5 or 6 months, they'll be out of business. I was listening to like the news channel going to pick up Alyssa, and they were talking about how expensive the cars are and there's no demand for them. And I'm like, yeah, demand's here and you're trying to sell them here. And you wonder why you can't sell the fucking cars. And the guy asked, is there a thing on it with the government where they don't want you to buy them? I'm like, man, this is business. The only reason you're in business is to sell your inventory. What kind of stupid question is that? And the guy kept saying, well, it's over my pay grade. Then what the fuck you doing on the radio? Get off the radio. Your pay grade. What is that? I hate that. So anyway, this is what I'm telling you. They can't sell the cars because it's over market and the interest rates kill it even more. So your $24,000 Camry is $35,000 and then add 10% interest rates on it. You'll never sell a car for 5 years. What are you kidding me? So I'm glad I'm not in the cars. The banks will be good because they'll eat up these little banks. And so we'll be busy, since they run the government, it'll be fine. It's probably the perfect thing to get into, but I'll try to sell everybody gold there and they'll all be in dollars. She can get the Bears backup quarterback, AKA the grocery clerk. Well, the one for $21 could. The grocery clerk. I can't believe they went back to Fields when they had the grocery clerk. Then I'm hearing Fields to Oakland. Well, why would Oakland want him? So Oakland will probably be middle of the pack because they're winning too many games. This is not a year you win any games. This is a year you go, Bo Nix, Pettis, Caleb, Hartman, Van Dyke, Gabriel, Oklahoma, the Texas guy, and you just look at all the meat out here. You don't go 10-8 this year. You go to Carolina. What's Carolina going to do? They got Vince Young. What are they going to do? You're going to keep Vince Young? How do you get rid of him? He's the number one pick last year. Nobody's going to want him. What are you going to do? Not take Nix or Caleb and keep Vince Young? Is this what you're going to do? You'll be picking first the next 10 years with this guy. But how do you let him go? And who's going to trade for him? Who in their right mind would take Vince Young when you could have the number one pick and get Caleb or Nix? What are you, insane? Oh, my God. The guy sitting 2 rows ahead of me on the flight back Monday had the game on, and my God, was a shit fest that was by Fields and Dobbs. Well, Dobbs threw 4 interceptions, and Fields completed 5 passes. And that's what you got, a 12-10 game that is a joke. But this is the NFL. They're running quarterback. Well, I don't even think Dobbs is a running quarterback. He throws 4 picks, and now Jefferson's coming back. Our buddy, he's got to be. He's like this, Bobby. He's like, I got Dobbs. Oh my God, where's Joe Burrow? What an offense. You had Jefferson and Chase and Joe Burrow. No wonder they scored 45 points a game and won by 20 every game. It's unbelievable, that offense. Burrow, Chase, Jefferson, Eclair, and Moss. Moss's kid was the tight end, and I'm sure the other receiver was probably a big-time receiver too. I mean, Burrow could just light it up, and they couldn't. Who are you going to cover, Chase or Jefferson? Oh my God, on the same fucking team. Oh, good. That was great. But yeah, this is the problem with the league. You got. So what are you going to do with Young? You're gonna get the number one pick. You just traded your best receiver to the Bears to get the number one pick. Good move there. I mean, the Bears aren't any better. They still suck, but they are scoring more. I think the Bears go to an over, but they're off this week. So I kind of wanted to bet Baltimore. They're off. Buffalo's off. The Bears are off. You got 6 teams off this week. It sucks, and the ones you got aren't really that good. It'll be an interesting game tomorrow, Seattle and Dallas. I think that spread's too high. You give me Seattle, Coach Pete, and 15 points? Really? I mean, Dallas is making their living on Carolina, Washington, and the Giants. That's who they're beating, all the Z teams. But Coach Pete, I mean, you give him 15 points, I think he could probably beat Oregon and Georgia with 15 points. I made a joke earlier. I said if I would take I would take Georgia and lay 10 to Carolina or Oregon or Michigan. I would lay 10 to Carolina with Vince Young here. And I'd lay the points. I'd say here. So anyway, so gold starting to go. It won't come back. I think I explained it very well yesterday with you can't, like, you're printing the dollar to zero, but you can't print gold to zero. So they came up with the derivatives to print it to zero. But the people who understand it realize the physical can't be printed to zero. And they're starting to go, well, wait, I'm going to buy physical gold because you can't print it to zero. What the fuck's going on with this paper? And if we can get Alligator and Egon to start understanding, it is the gold price going to go to the physical price from the suppressed paper price. I don't know why they can't realize that. Are they that stupid, or am I that smart? I don't know what it is. I seem to be the only one that actually gets what the fuck's going on, and $50,000 gold's conservative. Everybody else keeps giving you the COMEX. Well, it might go to 2,500, 3,000. Are you out of your fucking mind? In what world will it only go that high? Once we get rid of COMEX and the suppression, and don't tell me we don't, because the Russians and Chinese are going to want to go a high gold price. When you own all the gold and you're Russia and China, you don't want a $2,000 gold price. You want the price to be $50,000 and blow up the U.S. This is their whole game. We're going to blow you up. That's what I'm convinced the war with Russia, somehow Ukraine got in the middle of it, was about Russia going on the gold standard. That's what we've done to Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi, was we blew them up when they tried going on a gold standard, because we can't compete with gold, right? The dollar and gold, the dollar can't compete with gold because we print it to death and you can't print gold. That's basically it. So here comes Russia and China, and the war was about the gold standard, and Russia said, fuck you. Russia won 77-0. There's nobody there to surrender for the U.S. team. Biden doesn't know where he is, and so the rest of it, it's just insane. So there's nobody there, so Putin can't, okay, it's like at the end of the game, you can't shake hands with the other coach. Well, good game, we beat you, but good game. You can't do that because there's nobody from the U.S. to shake his hand. So he won, but it's just a matter of time till they realize it. So the gold will go, and again, they want a high gold price, as we do. And I don't get Egon with, oh, you don't want the high gold price. Why not? So it's called moving to the Western Europe where they have the gold, and now they they're going to a gold standard. The Euro teams, Italy, France, Germany, they're getting gold to make a gold-backed currency themselves. So you'll have the BRICS, you'll have the Euro gold-backed currency, but the U.S. doesn't have any gold to make a gold-backed currency. How the fuck do you have no gold? Gold's been sitting at 2,000 an ounce, which is really very cheap considering your dollar's worthless. And and you're not buying any, and you're going to keep going with the dollar, and you think that's going to work against Russia, China, and all these other countries coming out with a gold-backed currency. You think your currency is going to be worth 1 cent. Right now, when I send Daria money for the ruble, it's like 95 to 1. So I send her $100, she gets 9,500. It buys her a little bit of groceries. It doesn't buy her like what it should. But I'm worried. I don't know what I'm going to do when the ruble gets gold back. It's going to take me $10,000 to give her 100. So I got to prepare for. I don't know what I'm going to do with her because I don't have $10,000 to give her so she can eat. But her currency will be gold back. So we'll have to see what happens. So I might be. I don't know. I can't get into Russia because I'm an American. We'll have to figure out a way to get that gold back currency. So I'll get this job at Wells Fargo and I'll start asking him, I want to get paid in gold. I don't want to get paid in dollars. You're a bank. You understand what's going on. So that's the thing. Has Alligator made it? Well, he's doing a made off. It was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, Greg, I am calling him Vince Young because that's what he reminds me of, or Steve Young. And it's like I call Tua Tug because I don't like him. And I don't like Bryce Young because he played for Alabama and it's all a fucking system and it's a joke. And I think it's just ridiculous. So, yeah, I know his name. Just like when I call the San Diego Chargers, I know they're in LA now, but I'm not going to call them LA because then I'll have to go back and say, no, it's the Chargers, not the Rams. So if I just call them San Diego and Oakland, we all know who they are. We don't need to do that. So, yes, I know exactly what I'm doing every moment of the day. So anyway, thanks, Bobby, for that clarification. Greg is really vampiring it. I don't know how much. He's going to see the sun really soon, Bobby. That sun's rising, and Greg is not in the coffin, so he's going to be in trouble. So basically, you're seeing the central banks do not want the dollar. Really, they don't want it because they know it's printed and it has no value, and that's why they're buying gold. But Egon's saying, well, they don't want to get sanctioned. Bullshit. They're not worried about getting sanctioned. They realize it doesn't have a value. You can't have $35 trillion in debt and think everything's okay. Okay, I get it. These guys are bankers, right? The central bankers in Europe, Asia, they don't want the dollar. They understand the debt. And so they don't want to have this currency soaked in debt that's worthless. That's why they want gold, because they know, wait a minute, there is no currency. They've all been made off. Every currency has hit the iceberg. You've hit the iceberg. You've hit the iceberg. The pound's hit it, the Swiss franc, the yuan, the ruble, the yen. They've all hit the iceberg because they're all printed. They're all fucking just huge print, more and more supply. So you got this huge supply, which lowers price. And the only thing you can go to in the world is gold and silver. That's it. So as I'm trying to explain to Alyssa, look, all my money's, I thought you had money. Yeah, I do. It's all in gold and silver. So I showed her some silver. I said, this is what I've got. I said, so don't, I'm not cashing silver in at 25 an ounce. So you can have $100 when I just gave you 100 for your birthday. So shut the fuck up. Stop trying to vampire me. We're stoic here. So she starts giving me a hard time. I said, don't even go there. I was very forceful with her. I said, don't go there. Don't hit the goose that's laying the golden egg. Don't fuck with me. I gave you money. You wanted money. Happy birthday. Here's some money. I don't know what you want. I mean, I don't know what else I can do. So I'm supposed to buy you stuff and then give you more money and give you more money. You know, I hate the argument. Well, you have money. And I go, it's my money. I got to take care of Daria and Jenna and whoever else and me and who knows what's happening. And I'm not working. I says, I need the money for now. So, but it's my money. Go get a master's and a job and make 120,000, and then you can decide who to give it to. Because I'm intelligent. Don't fucking think I'm an idiot. So I gave you $100. Happy birthday. That's it. Yeah, you have money. Yes, I do. But if I kept giving it all to you, I wouldn't have any, would I? And I'm not breaking my gold and silver for you at these low prices. Now, if gold hits 50,000, we can talk. But at this point, we can't. So I gave her a couple of silver ounces to say, don't spend them. They'll be worth $2,000 a piece soon. And then you can go whatever you want with your money. But, you know, she says, what are they worth? I said, right now, $25 a piece. She said, 25 together? I said, no, 25 a piece. And just go to the coin store, wherever they sell gold, and go, and they'll give you the cash for it if you want. That's up to you. All I can do is give you the silver. But I have, I broke up one to give my lifeguard friend 10. So I have that 10. So I'm like, okay. And I'll give Jenna when I meet her the other 5 or 6 and quarter ounce of gold. And here you go. Yeah, Phil is waiting for him. Yeah, there you go. Vince Young was good. Vince Young sucked. What are you talking about? I gave her a couple ounces. It was her birthday, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Stop crying. I couldn't take it anymore. She probably is at the coin store right now selling it for 25. Well, probably, but that's okay. Jenna's smart enough that when I gave it to her, I said, don't sell it now. Hold it. Wait for the price to go up. She kind of doubted it, but then I told her the other day, gold's at 2025. And she said, oh, okay. Now she's starting to get it. Now it's at 2048. And in Ukrainian terms, it's a lot. It's a ton. And she's got, I think, 2 ounces. I gave her like a half ounce here and there and a couple quarter ounces. And so she's taken care of. And when it jumps, I'll say, okay, you've got the gold, do what you want with it. And I've always said, it's yours. You can do what you want. But if I was you, I'd wait about a year. And then when it's 40, 50,000 an ounce, then maybe I'd sell it. Not now. And she gets it. She understood that. She gets it. Alyssa doesn't get it, but my Ukrainian girlfriend gets it. The American girl, and that's the whole point in America. They are too stupid to understand anything. If she was crying, she might be a bit desperate and sell it. Well, that's why I gave it to her. She was crying. It was like, I don't know what to do with her. She's going to hate herself in January. Well, I told her, I said, they'll be worth 2,000 an ounce. And she says, I can get, and she's got problems. And, so I feel bad for her. She's with a guy who's a total loser. He's a vampire. He's worse than a vampire. He drains her. They yell all the time. He's super jealous. He keeps calling. And I really don't like it. It's like, I'm with her. If me and you are getting ribs, I really don't want you on the phone for the hour, and you don't want me on the phone you want our focus on each other, not on, wait, Bobby, I got to take this phone call for an hour. And you're sitting there anyway, twiddling your thumbs, or vice versa. And that's all she does. She comes here and she's on the phone. She's on the phone. She's yelling. She's screaming. and you're like, oh, okay, I can't handle. I go, I got neighbors above me, and you're screaming. Fortunately, when I was on the interview, she was here. I said, you got to shut up. And she closed the door, and she was pretty quiet. And then I said, I'm done. And then she started yelling. So she was good on the interview, but basically, she needs a job. She's a fucking waitress. Go get a skill. What are you doing? I can see why girls, chat, do sex chat or escort, because to be a waitress, what do you make? Nothing. And to do chat, you make a lot of money doing nothing. You just sit there, and guys pay you to sit there, and and you make 100 times more money. So I can see what drives the pretty girls to the chat sites, because they can't, unless you've got a master's, you're not going to make a lot of money, especially now. So I get that. Are they real young? Oh, yeah, for sure. If it was a hot chick, would do OnlyFans easy. Yeah, well, if I was, sure. Are they real young? Or what real young? Her boyfriend? Yeah, he's in his 20s. It's funny. She's with me, and I'm, of course, older. And then she's like with him because he's younger. And now who got the last laugh? I says, well, let's see. You left me a very stoic person who only wants what's best for you and for you to be happy. And I never yell at you, and you can do anything you want. But you went because he was younger. How did that work out? And he's constantly controlling her. And where are you? And what are you doing? And it's like, oh my fucking God, are you crazy? So, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. That's why the girls in Ukraine and Russia, I text when I wake up. How are you? Have a nice day. Love you. That's it. I'm not. Now, Daria, when I don't get anything back, I'll text her a little bit more, but only because I haven't heard from her. But Jenna, it's just the text once in the morning. She texts me, and go enjoy your day. That's how it should be. But I'm not trying to control anybody. I'm just saying, have a nice day. How are you? Are you feeling okay? You feeling better? Things that people want to hear anyway. So, yeah, I mean, this guy's just a total loser. He's it's one of these jealous types. So I said, he's a 5-year-old. He's jealous. Tell him to fuck off. That's all I would say, is leave me alone and go fuck off. And I said, I don't know why you take any of this shit. He's a bully. You just ignore the bully, and the bully goes away, because you can only bully somebody who will listen to him. If you don't listen to the bully is disarmed. So just ignore him. So if you get stoic, like I do at the club now, where I just walk in and I don't talk to anybody. People say hi to me. I don't even say hi back unless I know them. Some old 80-year-old guy. What are you going to talk about? Gold? I'm going to sit there and try to argue with you about why you should buy gold. So I kind of go like, I don't even say anything. I just kind of, hey, how you doing? And that's it. That's what I do with the greeter at Myers. He says hi. I go, I don't say a word. I just do that. Yeah, whatever. And that's it. These guys, I don't get it. But I go, what are you doing with this idiot? Are you insane? What are you doing with this guy controlling you? Why are you letting him control? And this is why she does the drugs. And, it's a sad situation. That's why I tried to help her. And she's just not strong enough to defend herself. So I said, watch these stoic things and you'll understand it. And that's really the point of the stoic. It shows you what to do in these situations and who to run away from. And like, you don't want vampires soaking up your energy and things like that. So you've got to be, but it's about you having your character, doing the right thing, and being around the same type of people, not being around crybabies and control freaks and girls that are pretty who only want your money and stuff like that. So it's a very good, but I guess I've always been stoic, because they're going through stuff and I go, yeah, that's the way I acted. I I acted that way here. I acted that. Yeah, okay. So I've always been. I just don't know what they call it. So this is kind of fun learning. I'm an INFJ and a Stoic, and not knowing what it is. But now everything makes sense to me. That's why I am with gold. Like I say, once I make up my mind and I do the work and I realize gold's the out, nobody in the world can change my mind to not be in gold. It's, and that's the Stoic in me is, once I make up my mind on Georgia, you're not getting me to bet Alabama. Hell or high water, I'm taking them, and I'm watching Auburn run down their throats. What do you think Georgia's going to do? If Auburn can run down to Alabama's throat, what is Georgia going to do? That's the key to the whole bet is Georgia running it down their throat, and Georgia's defense is too fast for Milrose. He ain't going to do shit against them, and they're not going to get the cheap offensive pass interference call that they did on Auburn. Yeah, Bobby, but if you're a hot chick, I sat there and I said to myself, here she is. She's pretty, and she wants to be a waitress because she wants to make money on tips. And I'm like, if I were you, I would date 10 guys, and I would just, date them and say, look, I don't want to be tied down. I'll date you, and I'll date him, and I'll date him, and I won't tell everybody, and I'll just do it, and I'll get more money than I could do working. And I just shake my head going, why aren't you doing that? Why are you with one guy is my point. I don't understand that at all. But these girls, they're just so insecure. It's a shame. Nick, can't confuse incompetence with ignorance. Oh, sure we can. We do that all the time. Dealing with a vampire in my life now, it's actually scary, slowly getting away now. Stoicism is great. You should read Marcus Aurelius. Well, all these are Marcus Aurelius. They talk about Marcus Aurelius in all these videos that I show you. So like the one I was looking at today. I mean, but that's the type of football coach. I'd want Marcus Aurelius to be our football coach. See, like here, 7 strategies to make them value you. So the hot girl has to realize you're an asset to her, and she has to value you. So yeah, these are, but it's all 7 habits that will change your life. I don't know about in 6 months. I don't care about that. Or like this one, ancient philosophy. All these are so good, and you learn so much. And they're all Marcus Aurelius quotes. He was the one that got Rome going, was Marcus Aurelius. That's how the empire got strong and everything. And then you got these Neros and these other idiots, the communists coming in and ruining it all. But if you would have just stayed stoic, Rome would still be number 1, and we'd be number 2. We're number 1 because of stoic, and Ben Franklin and all those guys, George Washington, were stoic. We're on the gold standard, and there's no central banks because those are evil, and they knew everything, and it's all in the Constitution, and it's just gold and silver are the only money. What are they doing with this fiat? Where are you seeing that this is money in the Constitution? It isn't. Why aren't we reading the Constitution? Because all the crooks want us to print money, because then they can steal from us, and that's exactly what's happening. They're stealing from us. We're sitting there with dollars worth nothing, and they're printing and printing and printing, not realizing that they're fucking themselves over as the dollar goes to zero. And then we're stoic. We're going, you know what? What's the problem? What's the solution? Problem is the dollar's worthless. The solution, gold and silver. We figured it out. We use the Titanic as an example so everybody can kind of get a better understanding. And that's really what it is that's what the problem is. It's that's your problem. And I just was watching that video. So if you see a problem, it's like how to get smarter, how to be the smartest guy in the room. And it's basically because you're trying to problem solve. So when you see like, why is gold 2,000 an ounce? It should be 20. You problem solve it and realize it's COMEX. They're printing the derivative paper gold that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as paper gold. And that's what they're printing. And that's why gold's undervalued. And then you realize it and you go, and the answer is buy real physical gold. And then you realize, okay, now we've solved the problem. And as much as you, and to answer Luke's question, it's as much as you can buy. As much as you can carry out of the gold store is what you need to carry out. As much as you can. I don't know, 50, 100, 500 ounces, 1,000. I'd buy a ton if I could afford it. I wish I got my master's in 1971 when I was 12 years old. I could have been buying gold at $35 an ounce, and I'd probably have a couple thousand ounces by now. But that's really the whole key to it. I mean, I knew about this in 1995. When I got my master's, the first thing the guy did in class was rip the dollar. And he says, this is worth it. That's the first thing, 1994, in Austrian economics class, he rips the dollar. That got your attention. And it was, this is worthless. And you got to buy real assets, buy gold and silver. And that's when I went and bought this instead of the class ring because it was gold. And so that's really when I knew about it, 95, and it's $250 an ounce. I should have been buying wheelbarrows worth of it, but I got it now. So, it's not too late, but you better hurry up and not wait. I don't think you got much time. I think January, Russia takes over BRICS. Russia's got to come out with a gold-backed currency soon. This whole Russia war is ending. Now you got the Israelis war. And I'm almost thinking the whole point of all these is to bankrupt the whole world, because now all the Middle East is in the war. Well, where are they getting the money from? It's expensive, a war. You got to build tanks and jeeps and airplanes and battleships and shells and bullets and feed the men. Well, it's all an expense. There's no revenue unless you steal the gold like Hitler did. There's no revenue to be found. So you've got to spend all your money for the military. Well, they're all going to go broke then, because they're all going to have, where are they going to get the money from? They got to print it. And once you print the money, it's worth zero. And that's what all these countries have to do to now get into this war. And it's the only thing that makes sense to me, because I'm always thinking financially. That's what this whole Israeli war is about. And what happened with Russia and the Ukraine was us to stop them when we couldn't do it. So keep that in mind. There is no out. Your only out is gold and silver. There's no other currency you can get. Yeah, you can buy a house, but how expensive are these? And you got a 10% interest rate or more. So good luck buying a $500,000 house at $10,000 a month now, or whatever it is. Good luck buying a car. So really, you've got to buy assets. Yeah, you can buy the Brady card and the Mantle card, but even so, you still got to trade it in for gold, and you got to get a gold price. You got to get a price for them, because they're going to go from Montana rookie $125,000 goes to zero, goes to a couple ounces of gold. Will buy the card. So now the Montana rookie is 2 ounces of gold. So you still got to sell it, but you still got to wait for what the price is, right? What's the price? Oh, it's 125. It's 2 ounces of gold. So you've got to determine that the new gold value. And that's what Egon and Alligator don't get. They don't get it. It's not barter. It switches to all the prices are in gold. That's what happens. So that's really what they need to, that apparently I'm the only one who understands that. Everybody else, we'll have to go to the barter system and make a gold dollar and make it 1/64th. Dude, it ain't going to stay at 2,000 an ounce, and you don't even know what the prices are going to be, because they're going to be priced in gold. So what the fuck are you wasting your time on a 1/64 ounce paper gold? Where are you getting all the gold from? It's got to be backed. What are you doing? Just keep the fucking gold and stop doing this. Nobody's going to buy your gold paper. Ooh, I got a 1/64 ounce of gold paper. And where do I trade it in? I want the gold instead. Where do I go? Nowhere. Yeah. Well, good luck with that, fella. This is what these idiots are coming up with. I swear these people are the stupidest people I've ever seen in my life. They just don't understand. Or I'm in a very high, rare 1% of population who understands what the fuck's going on. Because these guys are just fucking clueless. So that's coming very, very soon. And that's what'll happen. So your house goes to zero and your credit cards go to zero. And then they're going to get revalued in gold. But I'm not sure how that's going to happen with your Chase card, your JP Morgan credit card you owe $10,000 on. It's got to go to zero because there won't be that. But what does it get translated to gold? And I don't know how they're going to do that, if they're going to do that at all. They might not. So now all of a sudden you don't owe a mortgage. But guess what? Your house is worth nothing until we price it in gold. So your house that you think's $500,000 goes to zero, but then gets revalued in gold. But you need a market for it. So you need somebody who wants to buy it. And then you dick around on the price, which you won't know because you won't know the real price of gold. 50, 60,000 an ounce, maybe more. As all the shit hits the fan and everybody's trying to get off the Titanic at the same time and the frenzy happens, you might see $500,000 gold. Now, I don't want to go there, but you don't have an option. It's the only boat to get. You've hit the iceberg. The water's coming in. There is no other boat to get on but these lifeboats. That's it. So you've got to go into gold and silver. You don't have a choice. So the frenzy is going to happen, and you've got how many billions of people in the world, and you got 250,000 tons, of which the Russians and Chinese have 100,000 of them. So there's 150,000 tons minus what the central banks have. Let's say they have 50,000 tons. So there's maybe 100,000 tons left for the common for how many billions of people to buy. And once they realize the dollars are not going to be good, we're just a little bit early, but we're lucky we're a little early. We're still buying it at these low prices. So open your eyes and understand you don't have much time, and you're much better off buying now and holding for 6 months than missing the boat and you're at the dock and gold's 20,000 an ounce. Now what are you going to do? And don't kid yourself if you don't think that it's going to go there. It's going to go there. There's no question, because the dollar is gone and the only option is gold. So where do you think it's going to go? And then, hold on to your hats when the dollar goes out. Nobody's talking about that but me. They're all thinking, oh, we're having a recession. It's going to be a bad recession. No, it's going to be far worse of a depression. It's going to be a volcano blowing up, but only if you're in dollars. If you're in gold, that's fairly a wind. We're fine. No problem. So, Nick, you're dealing with a vampire. See, the difference is when you're dealing with her at first, she's pretty and you don't know she's a vampire. Now that you know she's a vampire, you try to deal with her and you show her the story. You show her some videos and don't tell her she's a vampire. And you just walk through the 9 and then let her realize she's a vampire. And then maybe that she changed, try that first. But then now you know what to look for. And there are pretty stoics. I think Jenna, I don't know if she is, but Daria seems like a stoic. She doesn't bother me. Jenna bothers me if I have a stain on my shirt. But she's insecure. She wants me to look good so she can say, I'm with Howard. I'm with the good-looking guy. Look at me. That's why she's doing it. I'm stoic, and I don't care if she's got a stain on her shirt. And I don't, to me, that's not important that she's pretty and I'm walking with her. What's important is I'm me, and that's all I care about. So be careful on that. I'm sorry you're with the vampire, but hopefully you can straighten her out. I don't know why you can't straighten her out, because I don't know that she knows she's a vampire. Like, we got to straighten out Greg and John. He's vampiring us a lot lately. So we've got to clean him up before Bobby gets him in a figure 4. But that's I think once you're aware of it, and you just stick to being very stoic, very like there was the one I was watching today, and it's like a guy, like a guy's no good if he talks to hear himself talk, but if he talks to make a point and it's a smart point, then that was the point of it. It's like if you talk to make a point, that's great. If you talk to hear yourself talk, then it's not good. And that's kind of what, and I said, yeah, it's exactly what I've been doing is talking about gold. But when we get off subject, and Bobby, you're like that, you get off subject, you're like, I don't want to hear it. And that's what your family is. They're all vampires talking about today's weather and let's go to the movie and George Clooney's playing. And you're like, fuck, who cares? Bobby, yeah, one guy in a shit job is a bad combination. I would go OnlyFans. Well, either that or just a chat site, but that is a chat site. Absolutely. I agree with you. I think if I'm hot, that's what guys, that's why, because that's the market. The problem is you got a lot of competition in OnlyFans. You got your porn girls and you got your other hot girls. You got your Russian hot girls, and they're all on it. So you got a lot of competition. So I don't know that you're gonna, do anything on it versus escorting. You're in your little city. You can, maybe you get a little better. You're not competing with the Russian girls unless they're in your city. But yeah, I mean, but why? You'll make more money, and I agree with you, Bobby. Nick, law of attraction is powerful too. Attracting is way easier than chasing. Well, that's the problem of it is when you're attracted to the girl, but you've got to be stoic and talk to her and see if she's a vampire or not. Julia, the girl I gave some silver to, not today, but the lifeguard, I'm attracted to her, but I don't. Right now, we're just friends. I'm not even trying to ask her out. I'm being very stoic with her. Now she sees me, she smiles and waves. So I've got where she realizes I'm valuable. That's really what you want. But yeah, I mean, just because she's pretty, I mean, it doesn't. It's how are they, right? That's why I say you get many girls. I got Daria and Jenna, and now it's going to be when I meet Daria, how is she? I know how Jenna is in real. How is Daria in real, and how is she on vacation, and how's she going to be? And then I can make my decision. Unfortunately, it's fucking war. I can't. But once the war ends and I can go visit her, then I can see. But that's really the key. I make Daria safe. That's what she says. You make me safe. With Jenna, I'm her life. So, either way, I'm very valuable to both of them. But then I can choose, right? And that's what you want to do, Nick. You want to be in a situation. I mean, there's a lot of hot girls, but that if they're vampires and they're not, like Alyssa's pretty, but she's a mess. I couldn't drop her off fast enough. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I ain't seen you for a while. You're a fucking headache because she's not stoic and she doesn't respect me. She should be happy to spend the time with me and not dick around on the phone. That's the problem. You should be glad you're with the professor, not all the other bullshit. Bobby, I actually mentioned that to a few girls of mine, and they clack like it's some big sin. I try to explain to them that you really don't ever have to go full nude to make money. See, but why do girls think that? Yeah, if they can't make money, what do you see? Half these porn girls, well, I used to work at Wendy's, and the money's better in porn. And I like sex, so I don't care. And what cracks me up is when they retire. What, you don't have sex anymore? So it's just funny, but that's usually what it is. Oh, I was working at a Starbucks and at $10 an hour, and then I did porn, and I could make $1,500 a day. And I'm thinking, yeah, but they're making $100,000 on you, and you're getting 1,500 of it. That's the part they don't understand is that the guys are using them. 1,500 is a lot to them, but it's nothing. They should say, give me 10%. I don't want any money. Give me 10% of what you make on it. Then let's hear what the guy says. But they're not that clever, and they should be buying gold with their money. I'm sure they buy drugs, and they're all a bunch of morons, like Kenzie, right? And they clack like it's some big sin. Why is it a sin? I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe you can hook up your friend with Grega. They can be the vampire couple. Yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't be pretty for either of them. We wouldn't be able to listen to them. They watch a lot of reality shows in the local news, and they wonder why their energy is not frank and negative. Well, that's the problem, right? You can't watch the news. I can barely watch any of these finance shows. I can't watch Peter Schiff or Rick Rude or Reichert, or it's getting hard to watch Andrew Maguire when he's got these idiot guests on him. Well, Friday, at least he does by himself, but I called him Madoff. I'm really curious how he's going to react to that. I said, you're a Madoff. You're talking about Ponzi schemes and all this stuff. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, that's what it is. It's you're drained. I was drained when I got home. It took me an hour to do the class because I had to eat, and then I was taking a nap watching Stoic because I couldn't. I was just drained from listening to her. I wasn't even in the conversation. And then what really cracks me up, we're in the car and the boyfriend calls and she says, "Shh, don't talk." So he doesn't know she's in the car with me, and she's so scared she won't. She says, "Don't say anything." He can't find out. And I'm like, well, when I was with you and he'd call, I didn't care. See, that's the difference. I'm stoic. I don't care. I'm an adult. You can talk to other people. I'm not going to force you into not talking to other people. That's the biggest mistake I found in Alabama. I'd see a pretty girl at the gym and I'd start talking to her. And the boyfriend would come over and I'd look at him and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm talking to this girl." "Well, that's my girlfriend." And I'd go and I'd start laughing at him. "Oh, you're controlling. Oh, you're a Nazi. I get it. Yeah, you control." Then I look at the girl and go, "Why are you letting this guy control you?" I mean, it was like, where am I? In fucking Nazi Germany? The guy tells the girl you can't talk to somebody else, and you're listening to this shit. I'm just, I'm so happy I have a boyfriend. Girl, you're pretty hot. You can have 20 boyfriends if you have any brains in your head at all. Unbelievable. Back in the day, they would have to be strippers and escorts, but now it's all digital and don't even get physically touched by these guys. Well, it's all, toys and stuff, and they just rub each other or rub themselves. And I mean, then there's so many tastes, different body types and stuff that, I mean, there's a lot of people for different types. So, but I don't know what you would get on OnlyFans. See, if you're a porn star, you just play with yourself. I don't know if you're a nobody. Why am I tuning in? Why am I paying you? And I heard like from porn stars, like interviews, and the girl says, "Well, I did porn so I could charge more to escort." That was her answer, because now you know me. Now I can, instead of charging 300, I can charge 1,000. And I know the porn stars charge more than the regular girl, but that's why you go to Amsterdam, where they're all beautiful. Russians, Germans, Hungary, all that stuff. Just beautiful. They can do it from their bedroom, in front of their computer, literally. Yeah, well, and they don't need a boss. All they need is, plug in the computer, get all the money. Granted, it'll be far less because there's less exposure and there's more competition. But that goes into our economics. The demand for the girl is here. The demand for the porn stars here, so they can charge more. They're a porn star for the girl, but there's demand, right? There's demand, and then there's a bunch of supply, a bunch of guys meeting the demand. And then you look at electric cars, and there's no demand. But that's the thing with girls. There's always, as Nick's saying, there's always demand for not even the beautiful girl, but if they're nice looking and they're friendly, that's fine. I mean, you've seen Irina, and then then there's Daria. Irina's a lot prettier than Daria, but Daria is very nice. I don't have any problem with it. She's still attractive, but she's no Irina. So that's really, it's funny. Irina tells me, she says, I'm nothing special. I'm just the average girl. And I'm like, you look like fucking Athena. What are you talking about? You're nothing special. This is obviously the husband talking to her, being jealous, going, oh, you're nothing. You're just average looking. And she's buying it. And I'm saying, you look like a fucking Greek goddess. Are you insane? There's maybe 20 girls that look as pretty as you. What are you talking about? Anyway, but it's funny how the husband gets so jealous. It's unbelievable. Like, you're still worried that she's going to leave you because she talks to another guy. What is wrong with these guys? They're so fucking childish. They're all 5 years old. Oh, you can't talk to my girlfriend because she'll like you better than she likes me, and she'll leave me. And then what'll happen? Well, why don't you date 5 girls, and then you don't have to be jealous? Because if one of them leaves you, you got 4 others. And if you treat them nice, why would they leave you? I never worry about Jenna or Daria leaving me. Never. They're in Russia and in Ukraine. I have nothing that they're leaving me, or I am not jealous one bit. Never. I mean, it's because they know, they understand my worth. And like Daria says, I feel safe with you. Well, obviously, there's nobody there she feels safe with, because it's a whole different, because I care about her and they don't care about her there. So that's really the thing. So take notes on that, Bobby. Russia, Ukraine girls, they don't get treated well. So just, the door's wide open for you. But that's the whole thing. I had one girl in Hungary say, just treat me nice. Just be nice to me. That's all I care about. And it's just unbelievable. This girl is gorgeous, but that's the thing. It's just be nice to me. Just, I feel safe with you. I can trust you. That's all they want. They don't care about your looks. They really don't care about your money. As long as you have something, right, to help take care of them. That's really all they want. And then you show them you have some gold, and then they're all, oh yeah, you got gold. Okay, yeah, you can date me. That's all they want. They just want to be treated well, and the guys there don't treat them well. The Russian guys are horrible to their women. It's a one-track mind, and they all have mistresses. I don't understand, as pretty as these girls are, how they allow that. And it's normal. The guy marries them and has a mistress or two on the side. It's just unbelievable. It really is. They can do it from their bedroom, and all they got to do. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Bobby, and that's as easy as it can get. Is just, they don't have to go anywhere. They get money on their card because you got to pay for it, I guess. I don't know. I've never done OnlyFans. I don't do that stuff. So I get how it works, but I don't do it. It's just not my thing, but a lot of people do. They make a lot of, like porn. They make a lot of money, but porn's different now. When I was growing up, there'd be, 10 or 20 actresses, and that was it. And then now it's like, who's this? She's porn. They're all porn stars, right? There's a million you never heard of anybody except for a few, Marilyn Chambers or whatever. And the rest, you're like, who is she? You're a porn star? Really? Oh, okay. You shake your head. Like, that's why you go to Amsterdam. You get the hottest girls you've ever seen, and it's 50 euros. And then if they like you, then you're all set up. Like, that one girl liked me, and she said, oh, you can have me all night for 500 euros. This is the hottest girl you ever saw in your life, Bobby. I mean, wow. I didn't do it because I didn't have the money. At the time, I didn't have a debit card. This is how old it was. And I just had like $1,000, and I just spent a couple hundred. And I said, well, I won't have money for the rest of the trip. And so I couldn't do it. But yeah, I missed that boat. Yeah, that was a stupid play, but who knows? Who knows what would have happened if she came and spent the night with me, and then her mafia boss would have came and killed me or something. So I don't know if it's all as straight as it seems, but probably was. But yeah, get to Amsterdam. You got it. These hot European girls are just unbelievable. Um, and they'll just be nice to me, just treat me with respect, and you could have a whole harem there, Bobby. So we'll go with the gold. Yeah, Amsterdam. We'll go with the gold, and we'll trade them like a quarter ounce of gold at 10,000 an ounce. We'll have a good time with 20 of them. Yeah, I'm dying to go back. I think in 2024 we're going to need a visa to go to Europe, but it'll be a cheap, like $10 visa online, like a Euro visa, just the tax if we want to go there. So we will see. But I'm excited to meet Daria. I guess we'll go to Turkey. Unless the war ends, I can go to St. Pete. I was watching this movie yesterday called Siberia with Keanu Reeves. And I was looking at it's in St. Petersburg, and then it's Siberia. And St. Pete looked real nice, real pretty. Nice buildings, a nice hotel on the water, everything. It was a very nice city for Russia, that is. So I'm dying to go, but I can't get in, and my money's worthless. So it's real frustrating waiting 2 years to finally meet her, but we'll see. And I'm waiting for Jenna, and then I got the job. They said, "Are you going anywhere?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going Christmas for a week to 10 days somewhere." It's not set, but we're planning it. So she said, "Oh, that's fine. You can take a week." My problem is I got to take a week with Jenna and a week with Daria, but But if I'm working, I don't really care. So you got to get Amsterdam class. We should have a class at Amsterdam. We could eat at the steakhouse, go to the casino. We'd have to go to the diamond exchange. They got a beautiful diamond exchange. They show you how they make it. They take a big diamond and they cut it. They make earrings and rings and jewelry with it. It's fascinating. Like a studio where they do all the diamonds, and it's like, wow. And nice shopping. And I think the Lowenbrow Distillery is there. The Van Gogh Museum, as you can see my Van Gogh picture, the blue one there. And then I got this one here. They're both prints from Van Gogh, but they're so cool. It's like you're so happy to have them. I was just trying to get 8.5 by 11s, like I got the Picassos, but they gave me these instead of those, and it's a pain in the ass finding a frame. Finally, at Myers, I found it. But okay, I got to ask this question: where do you get pool shoes? I had the kind you slide your toe in, and it broke. So now I had to throw out the sandals. Where the fuck do I get? I went to Walmart and I went to Myers, and they didn't have. And I'll try Target, but I'm like, I need pool. I don't want to walk around the pool without shoes on or in the shower. So I gotta find that. If anybody knows, let me know. I keep trying to ask people, where did you get your shoes? None of them. These are 20 years old. I don't know. Anyway, I'd rather have the one just slide into with the top than the one with the one piece like that. That keeps breaking. I tried Amazon, but I didn't. I don't know. I don't probably knew what to call it, so it came up with these strange looking ones. Yeah, but okay. So what happens when your pants don't fit? Because I know I have a problem. Polo fits me fine, but when I buy the Nautica, their fucking double X is too small around my chest. They're thin clothes Nautica, so on my chest is really tight, but the polo is fine. So it depends on the brand what you get. So what do you got to do? Then you got to fucking return it. What a headache that is. But I want to go to the mall or the store and I want to buy my stuff there. I don't really want to do it. But if I have, like, I have my New Balance, it's a wide foot. So I get a wide, 9.5 wide. Of that I can order online because I know that it says 608 wide. I know the size, so I get it, but I know it's going to fit. That's okay. But otherwise, there's no way I'm buying clothes online. I don't want to return all of them, and I don't want to get triple XL if all I need is XL. But the way they cut it now, they cut it for like 98-pound guys, double XL. Yeah, I have a chest. It's super tight on me. I can't wear that shit. So I agree with you, Bobby, but I can't. Like, I don't even know what to call these things. Pool shoes. I mean, I tried that. Amazon gave me these really strange things that I went to Walmart and they had like a 10 and it was narrow. I couldn't even get on my foot. I got a 9.5 wide and I couldn't even get it on my foot. So that's why I got to try it on. But we will see. Anyway. Well, you need to go to the gold store. You got to quit buying that online. But for now, if you need to sell, I think I'd sell it on eBay. You get a better price because the guy gives you a spot. He'll give you a spot at the store, but if you sell it on eBay, the problem is though you got to pay commission, so it eats into your profit. But it's still probably more. But then it's a pain. You got to get the money. Then you got to go ship it. So at the end of the day, it's probably worth. Okay, I lost $20, but I got my cash. So we'll see. What do you think is the best to eat when having the flu? I would say fast. I would say tea and water with lemon and cinnamon and a little bit of honey and a little bit of the ginger. So you know what to put in it. I would heat it up and I would that's all I would have. You do a 2-day fast and you'll be better in 2 days. That's the beauty of the fast. It cures you. Your body will cure you with the flu. Just let it. Just get out of the way. So stay in bed, sleep, take a hot tub, take a hot shower, sweat it out. A lot of blank. You want to sweat it out, get the poison out of you. And that's it. And I would just, don't eat today and then maybe eat dinner tomorrow and just the tea and the water so you're not too hungry. And the tea's good. It'll sweat it out. And that's all I would do. Let your body heal it. Your body heals yourself. You know that. So that's how I would do it. But because I do what I do, I'm not getting sick very much anymore. Because I do the fast every day. Today I don't think I ate till 1:30. By the time I went to get Alyssa and come back here, I think it was like 1:30. I said I haven't eaten all day. And then she said something. I said, no, I'm doing it on purpose. I don't eat till noon normally, but if I'm en route with you, I'm certainly not eating. I really only had one meal today. I think I made some barbecue chicken, like the legs quarters. So it was like half a thigh, half a leg. And it's like that. So I had a couple of those. I cooked those up yesterday. And so I'm eating chicken early in the week, hamburgers late in the week, or roast or steak. And then I'm back to the general chow. So I'll have then more chicken and then more. It's like that's all I eat, chicken and beef. Put it in with the omelet. And then I get a lot of veggies where I either have salad or I put it in the egg and the omelet. And that's it. Very easy choices. And my ginger water. And I'm very, very healthy. My back doesn't hurt at all. I go in the pool and I do my twists and turns. I get out of the pool, I'm home, and I feel my back's fine. I tell Jenna, because she's the one I'm with when I can't walk, and I says, I'm walking perfectly. Maybe after a mile or so, I might have to stretch, but I'm absolutely pain-free doing it. Now I'm curious when I get on the airplane how I'll be, but we will see. But that's really the point of it. Once I'm on the airplane, for 10 hours going to Europe, will my back be okay? But now I know what exercises to do, and I'll stretch out and I'll try stretching on the plane and I'll know the exercise. So I think I'll be okay. Um, and I'll just have hot tea the whole plane ride. And I'll bring, like, you can bring food on the airplane. So you bring your avocados. I just have to cut them up first because I don't think they'll let me bring a sharp knife on the plane. Maybe they will. Who knows? I was scared to bring my razor because I use the cream and the razor now, and I was afraid to bring the razor on the plane, but they didn't care. I thought they were worried about sharp objects. No, you're fine. Come on. And then I took my Polo, cologne, the blue bottle. I thought, oh, I got more than 3 ounces. I was scared to bring it on. No, I was fine. My hair color. No, you're fine. Okay, fuck. So I'm bringing my shit. And when you travel international, you bring your little carry-on bag, and then I have this black gym bag, but it's a pretty big one. I put stuff in it, and they're fine as that is my carry-on. So you can bring the normal, the pull, the small one, and then the other one, and you carry them both on, and they're, especially going international, they don't care. So that works out. Even going when I came back with Luke and we're in Pittsburgh, coming back to Detroit or Philadelphia, coming back to Detroit, they didn't care. I think I had to put something underneath, but they didn't care that I had 2 pieces of luggage, and they didn't charge me for it. And it really wasn't luggage. One was just to carry on. So there's a lot of rules that who knows what they're doing now. But anyway, look for this Russian war it's over, basically. But Putin doesn't have anybody to shake hands. The other coach got fired in the middle of the game. Can you imagine that? So that's hysterical. So Michigan, Ohio State, and Michigan wins, and he goes to shake hands. The Ohio State coach isn't there. He's gotten fired. Oh my God! Yeah, there's a lot of talk. He's gonna. I don't know. He can't beat anybody. I'm surprised they lost 3 in a row to Michigan, to tell you the truth, on such stupid plays. Really, really, it's like he doesn't scout the other team. So I'm a little surprised there. His offense isn't what it should be against Michigan. But anyway, so we'll see a bunch of coaching fires happening. I'm sure Carolina's guy left, and it's just a matter. And that's the problem with the league. You hire bad coaches, and then you're wondering why you're firing. Like, why was this guy at Carolina, Frank Wright, hired? At what point did you think he was going to do good? And then you give him a year, and then, well, Steve Young isn't very good. We're going to fire the coach. Why don't you fire Steve Young? He's the one that isn't good. And then Dobbs, you pick up Dobbs. He got benched by Arizona. Oh, maybe he'll play better for us. Yeah, 4 interceptions here against the Bears. And yeah, this is why. How do you bet these guys? I'm going to bet on Joshua Dobbs. I'm going to bet on Thurston Howell III and Vince Young and all these clowns. How can I bet on them? So that's why you go to Sean Payton and you go to Coach Pete, and that's who you bet on, because because those actually know how to coach. What you think is best to, okay. I ate around 7. Well, that's okay. So tomorrow you fast. Phil sat next to you in the plane. I don't think so. Oh, Phil, Luke was close to me, and they should go rehire Urban Meyer. Yeah, well, they should. Again, he was coach at Jacksonville for a year. I don't even think he finished the year, and he got fired. Yeah, the girls are hot in Jacksonville. Well, you know that, Bob. He's probably a Tampa girl, but it was like every game was Alabama in the pros. Like, what were you expecting? So some of these college coaches, like Nick Saban went, and a couple others, and they were terrible. Jimmy Johnson could do it. There's only a few. Well, the Oregon coach couldn't do it. Um, I don't know if Kirby Smart could do it. I don't know. If I ran that Georgia offense and defense, I'm sure I could make the playoffs in the pros. The problem is getting the players to play for you. That seems to be the problem. So I would go ask. I'd spend a night with Sean Payton, going, "All right, how do you do it? What do you do to get them to listen to you?" He's got Russell Wilson on his side. He's got this defense playing out of their minds. What is it that you do to transition and come in and everything's fine? And Paul Hackett came in and he killed it. He was terrible. So how do you get the players to listen? But yeah, if I was somebody, I'd get Urban Meyer. He's won everywhere except for in the pros. I would get Jim Harbaugh back into the pros. He's a good pro coach, which is rare, especially in this league. He'd be in the Super Bowl every year, as bad as these coaches are. And that's the problem. They hire these idiot coaches. Oh, I ranked the coaches, right? Week 1. I think I gave 4 or 5 A's and about 15 D's and a couple of B's and C's. I don't get it. These guys are not. There isn't a good any of these coaches in San Diego. Let's go for it on 4th down every time because the analytics say 51% of the time we'll get it. And if we don't get it, well, that's not a big deal, even though it's like a turnover and we'll lose. We've won 4 games because I keep going for it. We keep losing. It's like a turnover and the other team scores and we lose because I keep going for it on 4th down. And he doesn't correlate at all. And why are you hiring this guy? If it was up to me to hire, the first question I'd go, Bobby, you going to go for it on 4th down? And if your answer is yes, you're not going to get this job. And I'd say to you, Bobby, if you go for it on 4th down and it's not like at the 1 yard line, if it's like anywhere within from our 50 in on our side of the ball, you go for it on 4th down and 1. I don't care if you make it or not, you're done. You might as well just drive home. You're not my coach anymore. I would be very, very sure of if my coach does that, he's gone because it's not a good play. And if you go for 2 when we're down 15 and we're down and we miss it and we're down 9, don't go in the locker. Just go home. You're fired because these are idiot coaches. You got to kick the extra point and get down 8 because you don't know you're going to get the 2-point conversion. That's I don't even think that's 50-50. And then it depends on which team it is. You go for 4th down on Michigan or Georgia or Oregon, you're never getting it. Alabama, you're getting it 0% of the time, so why go for it? So that's the problem. Yeah, Gregor, we know I'm on late. Yeah, I am here. Okay. We get it, Gregor John. Bobby, he's vampiring us again. Yes, I came on late because I had to help my friend out, and then I needed time to veg out from the vampire. And I think I'm about to go to the pool right now. I haven't gone today, and I like to get my workout in. So I think that's about it. So you got Georgia and you got Denver as your free plays. I have 2 locks going, a 33-unit lock, and it's 4-0 in my locks last week. Again, if you want the bowls you can get this week in college, plus Army, Navy, and then the bowl games for $100. And if you want everything, $200 for the rest of the season. So if you want that, do that, and I will. It's okay, Luke. That's fine. So if you want that, then I would recommend doing that, and then just email me and say, yeah, I want the whole package for 2, or I want plus the bowls for 100. That's what Todd had to do. He wanted the bowls, but I don't have the bowls up yet because we're not at the bowl part. So I gave him this week and the bowls for the 100. So you can get that. And just think it goes to a good cause. I can buy the girls some more gold with the money. But that's where we're headed. We're headed to the gold pile, and we've got to be flexible to move to Europe, because this is just going to be villains. It's going to be very scary here, because there's no law. The government's so corrupt. I look at a football game and I feel sad for the people in the crowd. You're spending all this money to go to a fucking football game. And then do you realize you're going to be out of a job soon and your money's going to be worthless, and you're going to wish that instead of blowing $1,000 to go to the game, you could have bought a half ounce of gold, which is going to, you'll be a rich man. So I feel bad for the people. Okay, Bobby Bo, you have a good day. Feel better. Just stick with the liquids and take a hot tub or a hot shower. You want to sweat it out, a lot of blankets, put on a movie, and just get some sleep. That's all you want your body to heal you is what you're trying to do. So try to do that. All right, everybody, I am off. Have a nice night. www.teaserking.com. If you're buying this week's picks, if you're buying the bowl picks, you get this week plus the bowls, $100. I'll send you that password. If you bought the rest of the season, $200, and I'll give you that password. So anyway, have a nice night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. It should be earlier, more of a normal time, 1-ish, 1:30-ish tomorrow. All right. And we got the Seattle-Dallas game tomorrow. Okay, have a nice night. www.teaserking.com. Take care, everybody.